most invaluable pawn. So let the merge begin. Now that the spiders are gone, with the core in my hands, reality shall collapse, and my eternal reign will stretch beyond divine grasp. So fade away and return to nothing. Your strength is great, but you're no match for me, no. I'll let you live on entertaining. God of all creation, God of your creation now. I do not fear you now. I exist beyond your time. Rule over cosmic beings. One thought could melt your mind. I do enjoy your rage. Could always entertain. Erasure won't come yet. I'll just provide the stage. So fade away and return to nothing. Your strength is great, but you're no match for me, no. I'll let you live on entertaining. God of all creation, God of your creation now. So fade away and return to nothing. Your strength is great, but you're no match for me, no. I'll let you live on entertaining. God of all creation, God of your creation now. Pasta and yogurt, it tastes like heaven. We eating pasta and it.
Alright, just started there.
Yeah. We've ended careers before. They call us a lethal weapon. You brandish an unsheathed sword. Play hero, Roroni, Kenshin. We kicked it aside of your door. Use the wonder we'll get to seven. Where was that bravado you had a hot minute ago? Hey, we got ups, but I wouldn't say we beat. How the saying goes, it's a two-way street. Get me on the pipe and you know they had a tweak. I'm just trying to lay my name, you get what I'm speaking. We entertain the masses and anywhere the weekend. There's some asshole think that he can press the lead and put the whole squad down, get out within the weekend. But we stars, boys, so continue, go and see. We've ended careers before. They call us a lethal weapon. You brandish an unsheathed sword. Play hero, Roroni, Kenshin. We kicked it aside of your door. Use the one who will get to seven. Where was that bravado you had a hot minute ago?
Blue circle emoji, Sly Maverick, green circle emoji, discovered mom has milkers and gave $5. Here to drop a like. Gonna listen from Tim's side.
Talk big things till you load it ain't one. Catching nails on this track's another freight ton. Now the single dove, so you gotta make one. G get domino, a drum that comes some great stuff.
You can keep talking, this be the season, but how can we down and new in our treasures while casually pressing your buttons? You keep pretending and nothing, but we can tell you be button, try threatening us with a poker, but your face looking all flushed and we rolling out all your bluffs and we telling you what is left and we saying enough's enough, but you trying to keep acting tough. If you really think that you run, let me tell you, you ain't the one, cause the song will be nothing speakers and the whole team finna pump it, y'all.
We've ended careers before. us a lethal weapon. You brandish an unsheathed sword. Played hero Roroni Kenshin. We kicked it outside of your door. Use the one who will get to 7. Where was that bravado you had a hot minute ago? We eating pasta in yo. It tastes like heaven. We eating pasta and it good. Yeah, 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 yeah. Thunderstorms, ending worlds, gods of war, clashing swords again. Thunderstorms, trembling odds, gladiators, torn apart again. You won't find mercy, I'm afraid. Thunderstorms, ending worlds again. Live or let die, there's no escape. Gods of war, clashing swords again. They saw me as a joke, the lowest of lows. They prodded and laughed at all my woes. Shattered my very soul with blow after blow. Just another actor in their freak show. Lights, camps, crowds, fans, I can't afford to choke up now. Competition, no problem, choke 'em out. I'll show them what this ring is all about. When I smash, they face so hard, shake the ground. Thunderstorms, ending worlds, gods of war, clashing swords again. Thunderstorms, trembling odds, gladiators, torn apart again. You won't find mercy, I'm afraid. Thunderstorms, ending worlds again. Live or let die, there's no escape. Gods of war, clashing swords again. You can hate, you can pray on my downfall, come melee. But when the rain floods the place, you will find there is no escape. Thunderstorms, ending worlds, gods of war, clashing swords again. Thunderstorms, trembling odds, gladiators, torn apart again. You
Right. Hi, chat. Here, let me make that go away.
Oh boy. Breaking news, I forgot to do my timer on the right time again.
It's fine. We can wait for the 2 minutes to be done.
That's no, I'm thinking we can like I'll shift it over like soon, but let people run in now.
Exactly. Welcome everyone. It is Dogwave.
I think we're just gonna call it that now, huh?
Yeah.
I think that works.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
I heard we were talking about the Grease Lord.
The Grease Lord.
Which one? There's a lot of those.
Randy the Grease Lord, the king of the grease.
Oh, I mean, eventually we are, yes.
Eventually, yeah.
Oh, damn it. I came in too early.
You did.
I mean, to be fair, we'll be doing that before our big topic. Here, chat, let me get the bowl on screen for you.
What are we talking about then?
I mean, we just started, so.
All right. Sorry, I jumped the gun. I have every time, Randy, it's like I need to talk about the grease monkey.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, you know, the greasy, sleazy car salesman looking SOB.
There we go.
Man who literally stole funds from Colonial Marines to go fund Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about his past other than just the fact that he sucks as an individual.
I mean, there was also the moment when Randy left a USB stick. I think
yeah.
I was
originally
about
assumed
to
there
say,
was...
magic tricks.
no, yeah. So tell that entire story, because when you told me that, I was like, what the absolute fuck?
So, Randy, I think it was a personal dinner at like a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah.
With like him and a couple of friends.
Mm-hmm.
And so someone found the USB stick and he left it on the table. And I think originally people were saying that there was prawn on it.
Not just
Yes.
well, you can listen. I think you can just say porn. I think that should be
Can you
fine.
say porn? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think YouTube
I
doesn't
don't
care
remember
as much anymore.
I don't remember if it was specifically CP or normal.
Some people allege it was. Some people allege it wasn't. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I'm not gonna say something that's more incriminating than not, because I mean, like finding porn on a hard drive is pretty crazy already. Finding CP is like a crime, so I want to make sure that you actually like get the thing right there.
Mm-hmm. Why isn't the cow on the bed? Because the cow's not in the bed.
No, you don't put the cow on the bed. You gotta reach the goal.
Chat.
Gotta reach 40 subs.
Chat,
Or
if you
40 super
Chat, if you give me $5, Temp will put the bowl on the bed.
I will fucking beat you, you
And
cheap whore. No.
and Temp won't see any of that money.
Gotta be
that
40.
yeah.
40 super chats.
I heard it was alleged and stuff. It was. That was all alleged. That was just two of the rumors running around with that.
I mean,
Yeah,
like, I'm
the
kind of
CP
glad that's
thing-
alleged. Listen, as much as it is good that I really want to take down pedophiles, but I really don't want to create fake ones. So if he's not actually a pedophile, I would prefer it if we don't like slander him as one, because that's like not.
MommaOcco.
Yep.
Shadow
Correct,
Real
and
Thank
also
you,
'cause
Shadow,
that's
for the
retarded.
$5.
Okay.
No.
Here, I will move
Come on,
me.
you gotta get 39 more super chats. 39 more, chat.
No, $5 is good.
No, here.
Jesus.
I grabbed the bowl. The bowl is now on the bed.
God damn it.
In return,
You
chat, we'll make sure that there is a Temp Yippee on the way. We totally
Yes.
aren't planning on that, but like we'll make sure it happens.
You see, chat, this is why I have to get in here, because they lowball. You can't lowball, you gotta make them work for it.
Exactly.
You get that dollar.
See, but that's the thing though, is I can't accept any of it.
True.
And technically,
Don't worry.
there is the promise of a Yippee in the future. So.
That is true.
Don't worry.
Temp,
I'm
grab the
throwing
bull by the
nickels at
horns.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
you.
Anyway.
Make Temp pick them up.
Anyway, we kind of just like
Anyway.
jumped straight into this here. Welcome
We
to
did,
Dogwave, where we talk about pop culture and video game news. I am MommaOcco, without a voice changer anymore.
Yeah, Akko's decided to forego the voice.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny because like the entire reason why I started using it in the first place is to play up kind of a character, and I didn't really want to use my original voice. Although as time went on, I've been tuning it, and people have been telling me it sounds better and better. Then one day I didn't have it on, and people are like, you really don't sound that much different. And I was like, you got to be shitting me. I spent $500 on this mixer to make my voice sound special, and you're telling me that I sound better without it. And then I turned it off for a while, and
admittedly, that's a good thing.
I guess.
Because if you ever do have to replace the Go XLR, which is an inevitability considering it's literally not being supported anymore.
Yeah. Which will suck
It
because
means you
I
can
love
just replace it without having to worry.
Yeah, it really will suck though, because like it's a really nice integrated system that's like played a major part in my life over the last couple of years. So replacing it is gonna suck But knowing that people like my voice is good. I used a voice changer. I did. Again, it was so minor that people really didn't see a difference. Like
The dog's emotional support autism creature. There you go.
There we go. But like, it got to the point where in my head I was like, okay, the only reason why I'm using this is because I hate listening to myself. Because that is like another prevailing reason, is like I literally hate hearing my voice. But like, as I was re-listening to yesterday's VOD, because I re-listened to all my VODs for the most part, unless they're extremely cringy or they're game streams, because I don't cut out game streams. But I re-listened to it and I was like, I guess I'm used to it enough. I've overcome my self-loathing and hatred. And I called a family member and said, I don't hate how I sound anymore. And they're like, well, that's good. Self-loathing is never fun. I was to check. Listen, the first streams are so
the first
bad.
Streams are bad.
Listen, there is a clip out there that I have. I have only not deleted it because like I feel like people should be allowed to laugh at my cringy old shit. I know some people definitely have. And I am definitely like not. I am embarrassed, but for a different reason, and it's not the voice. Mm-hmm. But like, you can go back and listen to. There's a clip of me reading Rosalina's bedtime story in Mario Galaxy, and I listened to it a couple of weeks ago because I was scrolling through my uploads, and I was like, you know, let's check some of the stuff that's still there. And I saw that, and I was like, oh my dear sweet baby Jesus, this sounds utterly awful. Why did people listen to me in the first place?
Yeah, back then it was bad.
It was very bad. It was so bad. But I'm glad that like I can just, well, people just don't care now, which is fine with me.
You're welcome, chat, because I was the one that kept telling them there's literally no fucking difference.
Exactly.
To be fair, you aren't the only one. There are, so I don't know if you've talked to our friends in like our inner circle, so Dom and Malice, and they both said Occo sounds the exact same.
Yeah. No, yeah. And again, like it's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, I definitely think it was retarded for me to use it as long as I did. Because again, part of it was I didn't like how he sounded. Part of it was I was playing up another character and I felt like it would be more cool. But hearing that people, I've legitimately got like people that came to my DMs before I turned off DM requests, and they're like, oh, you're hotter with it. And I'm just like, okay.
Thanks?
Okay.
Question mark.
Well, not even just like that. It was just like, oh, you sound hotter. Please keep doing it. And I'm just like, oh, okay.
Sorry, chat.
So back to the actual thing about the Grease Lord.
Yes.
I'll just say this, since, you know, to not bury the lead. So, no, it was alleged that it was CP. It was probably not CP. Otherwise, I'm surprised the guy who found it didn't immediately use a 44 and give him lead injections.
Yeah, that would have
well,
been...
no, he had already left at that point.
Well, it's also just like, if it was CP, I feel like the man would totally have been arrested by then. Because like, like here's the thing. Porn is something that you can talk away as just like a stupid gooner thing, even if it is like on a potential work device. However, if it's CP, that's automatic. You should probably go to jail for that. Not even probably. You should go to jail for that. And so if it was, I would have been extremely surprised that he wasn't like arrested for that. So that's why I'm just kind of like, I don't really believe that it is, you know, I don't really believe it. The FBI would have bent him over. Exactly.
And the main thing is Randy has discussed what was on it, and he said that she was performing magic tricks of the water sports variety.
Oh, so it was that's, oh gosh. Oh, man.
Twitter breaking. All of his posts are gone.
Oh, is all of Randy Pitchford's posts gone?
Never mind, they're back.
Okay, listen, let's be honest. Twitter has been breaking over the last couple of weeks. I've seen people send me messages saying, hey, I added you, or I said this to you and you didn't respond, and I'm just like, notifications are working?
Fuck no. Fuck no.
Like legitimately, I like yesterday was thinking to myself, I have to like search my name manually for the next couple of days to see if people said something insightful to me, because I haven't gotten any notifications, period. Like at first it was DMs, and I'm still wondering if DMs are broken. They might still be, but like I have not gotten anything on Twitter, so I just used it a little bit, slightly less than I already do. So. Yeah, no,
I think things are still kind of fucked. I think some things have been restored. I've been at least receiving notifications again on my shit posts, but I don't know about DMs. I remember I had to reach out to someone and literally leave a comment saying, "Yo, I DM'd you. You okay?"
Yeah.
And then they checked and were like, "Yeah, no, bro, I'm good."
Oh,
So
hey, quick breaking news, by the way. Hassan Piker has been unbanned from Twitch after 1 day, 6 minutes, and 20 seconds.
who's
Wow,
surprised?
who could have fucking thought?
I mean, like, it was already announced that it was a 24-hour ban. Like, he showed on his account that they said it was for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, they did what they said they were going to do. I don't think that what he should have done, I think it should have lasted longer. I'll be honest with you. If that's what they got him on, they should have banned him multiple times previously for that. But, like,
agreed.
you know, it's whatever. Hey, he's unbanned, though. Anyway, we can shift back to this.
So, as I was saying, he, has talked at length to an uncomfortable, unhealthy obsession degree about it when it first popped off. Later on, we found out he had shenanigans that were essentially possible tampering with funds that were earmarked for one game and used on another.
Yeah.
As I mentioned previously.
Real quick, Avenge, thank you for the raid.
Based.
But yes, he it was money from Aliens Colonial Marines into Borderlands 2.
Yes.
Okay.
And needless to say, was it Sony?
No, that's Aliens Colonial Marines was
Sega.
Sega.
Yeah, Sega was pretty fucking mad at them.
Yeah, no, I think they have blacklisted him.
They most
specifically
assuredly
Gearbox.
have. Yup.
I don't blame Gearbox for that. I do blame Randy.
Oh yeah, always blame Randy. He's the grease lord for a reason. He's the man you find in the grease traps.
Uh-huh.
And as for the whole calling him the grease lord, well, obviously, Civi, a YouTuber, has made it a meme, but just look at the man. Look at him. Look at the grease.
Here, I'll pull up a picture of him for my chat.
Yeah, pull up a pic. Here, chat. We're gonna be. This is for visual learners.
Yes, I mean, like, I'm gonna describe it the best I can for those that just like to listen, because a lot of people have told me they do like to listen. But I want you to imagine a guy that is he's extremely happy to be there, obviously. But he's standing in front of like a Borderlands like setup. I really do like how high quality the image is, despite the fact that like it's still a little bit blurry. And you can see this man
in the most obscene outfits.
He does.
He is dripping with grease. Oh, and the video. Also, Akko, you're not showing anything. Oh, yeah, there you go. Never mind. Stream finally caught up. But yeah, look at this man. Now this one, you don't see much grease, but look at that.
Yeah, he was cleaned up then.
Yeah, look at this laughably silly attire. He's got the white suit, the inverse, and bro looks like he's not fitting in it. Look at the neckline. Look at that neckline, chat.
Oh, he definitely should have gotten that better fitted.
It is bulging. This man is 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
What? Hold on. Wasn't that what he wore for the movie?
Yes.
Like the red carpet? Okay.
And if we go
Oh, was it for that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that they made a horrible movie that nobody talks about now.
Yeah, it's so bad. Literally no one talks about it. It is among
so bad.
The Borderlands movie is definitely among the lower echelons of bad video game movies.
For sure.
And if you can just pick another one, he sometimes looks like a greasy car salesman.
Well, this is the only one I have pulled up. You'd have to send me another one if you want me to.
All right.
But yeah, this is who we're talking about.
That's actively playing on my stream, but he is actively cleaned up for it.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Here, let me see if I can pull that up.
He looks like someone who would enjoy piss.
Oh yeah, he definitely looks a little bit better in that video. Here, give me one moment, chat.
There you go. I'm dropping it in, I guess, Nightwave stuff. Look at that grease.
Yeah, here, chat. We'll bring this up.
Yeah, he definitely looks a lot more clean shaven in that one. Oh, That's without the glasses. That man looks like he ran a marathon. Okay, that's not really fair. He looks like he just ran a marathon.
To be fair, like that very well could have been in like one of the summer heats.
No, I'm sorry. No. He reminds me of a car salesman, especially with these avant-garde outfits he wears constantly.
Yeah, his obsession with magic has not helped his outfits.
Yeah.
That
like
makes me feel
WD-40 the
handsome.
person. That's not very nice, chat.
WD-40 if it was a person.
Oh, that's not very nice, chat.
Anyway, before we keep going about ragging about how he looks like, he said some stupid things.
He did.
Oh,
He did. And then he tried to come back out later and walk them back, but I don't really feel like this is something you can easily walk back as a thing.
I feel like his statements have already damaged the reputation of this game, which sucks because it looks really good.
Yes, I agree.
Oh boy, I can't wait for more millennial writing. Are you ready for more millennial slop, Jeff?
Here's the thing: is I'm not too opposed to that because Borderlands has always just felt weird and wacky and never trying to take itself too seriously.
It has.
There's a difference between, you know, being all wacky and stuff, and then there's millennial writing. Like, okay, great example.
Yeah.
One was, you know, wacky Wild World, but there were some serious moments, like when TK, you know, you come back and he's fucking dead, or you know
But then you come back again, he's a zombie.
Yeah, because of the island of Dr. Ned and stuff. Fucking, you had Torval's arena shit. So you can have the wacky, but then, you know, we get into stuff like in 2, which leaned more on some serious stuff with, you know, the dude's bird getting murdered. That was
honestly
rough.
This very specifically, the millennial writing you're talking about is very specifically 3.
Yes.
Is it real? Because again, I never really played any of the games.
Yeah,
I played a little bit of 3.
They're Twitch streamers. Your antagonists are Twitch streamers.
Yes.
The new EULAs turn people away from it? Oh, I heard.
They're not new. Chat,
Was it not new?
They've been around for a couple years now. People are only just bringing it up now. I don't know why they're bringing it up now.
Well, I mean, like, it's probably because there's no games to it's because it's a new game. That's the reason why.
And also, chat, it's not Gearbox. It's 2K. There is a difference.
What is the difference? Oh, fair enough, I guess.
Gearbox is just owned by 2K, but these are 2K's EULAs. So
okay.
this is affecting stuff like Grand Theft Auto, XCOM, Civilization, Borderlands.
I'm actually not too familiar. What's the hullabaloo about the EULAs? Because EULAs are always just
They're claiming that they can access your information anytime they want to, so long as you accept, and all the information access, like where you live and your IP addresses and your gender and all this other weird ass shit. It's like,
hey, sorry, pause you right there. Hey, chat, I'm about to blow your fucking mind. Almost all EULAs say this. Look at any game's EULA, and it fucking says this shit. Even the Elden Ring EULA.
Root access to your PC. They all say that still too.
They all say that. I mean, like, yeah. I here's the thing. I do think that yes, these are things that have been around for a while. However, we should not discount that people are allowed to be upset that this exists.
Oh, no,
I think that the argument.
Why are you now, you know, creating a hill of beans of it when this has been the thing? Like, EULA's overreach, absolutely, and frankly, they should get their dick kicked in court.
I agree.
They should.
Well, here's the thing. I think people care now because they are realizing it now. Some people probably already realized it in the past. They are getting upset because it's something that they didn't see until now.
Actually, I don't know about that one.
You don't think so?
People started talking about the EULAs, surprise, surprise, the second that 2K and Rockstar delayed GTA 6.
Okay.
So this very well could just be people trying to bring up a dead horse as new information because they're not getting what they want because GTA 6 was delayed by another year.
I mean, like, we already knew that. I guess fair enough.
EULAs almost feel like kernel level anti-cheat in a sense. Well, yeah. And as long as you are, you know, prepared, as long as you are Like, you know what you're doing with your computer.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't really have much to worry about. What is a EULA? End user license agreement.
It's your agreement to when you play the video game. By modding the game in any way, you technically break it.
Correct.
It also means that when you accept it, they have legal rights to your skin and blood and organs.
Pretty much. If you don't read it, but yeah.
Some people think that this, when the EULA started coming out and people were review bombing, specifically Borderlands, I don't know why they weren't doing like it to other 2K games, but very specifically Borderlands.
Because it was tied to Borderlands mostly. I mean, like, yeah, it's tied to other games, but that was the first thing that people thought of.
Exactly. But some other content creators have come out since the EULA talk has come up again and saying, like, I'm still running mods. The point of this is not to ban you from using mods, it's to discourage you from using mods in multiplayer.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
But they're not going to tell you to not use mods, just don't use it where it can affect other people.
Right.
Pretty much. It's again, it's an absolute joke still, especially since, you know, people still mod or other stupid things and yada yada yada. I'm not saying don't worry about it. I actually would love if people got together and started swinging on companies to make EULAs make sense and not be so psychotic.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's essentially asking a bunch of, you know, random sheep to come together to create a civil suit.
Minor question, GTA's Take-Two. Take-Two and 2K are the same company.
Yeah, GTA is... Yeah.
So, Take-Two has 2K, which is very specifically their games division, and then their games division is what basically owns stuff like Rockstar, Gearbox, I think the Risk of Rain company. Now I forget what that one's called.
Oh no, they own them.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well,
So-
rest in peace them. Fucking hell.
But so this is what Randy had to say. This was in response to him because Randy did a creator's voice 4-minute interview with I think the Nintendo Treehouse. Yay. Because Borderlands 4 is coming to Switch 2.
Uh-huh.
And said, I'm very excited for the Switch 2, and I'm even more excited to bring Borderlands 4 to this incredible magical machine. GTA is DEI'd. On that same note, chat, 2K has, according to other people, I think Clownfish, Grums, there's a few others out there, so it's not specifically just those two, are saying that 2K is actively removing DEI from within the company.
I'll believe when I see
know,
it.
No, hang on. I've got a spicy thing I've been itching to say. So, Akko, here's what they're doing. What they're doing is they're just taking down the, you know, the Yahtzee flags,
Uh-huh.
and you know they're just putting those away and making funny little edits to them. That's all. You still got them, you know, saluting and doing all the usual stuff. They just now aren't as prominent.
Fair enough.
Admittedly, that might be true. With the last GTA 6 trailer we saw, like we were told, like, okay, the main protagonist, the main characters for GTA 6, we're gonna be a man and a woman. It is a straight relationship between a man and a between a white man and a woman, which is these days not heard of.
Like the two main characters are going to be a couple or something, or
Yeah, they are a couple.
That's interesting.
Then here, I know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to play the woman, and you're going to immediately be getting piped by Tyrone.
Okay,
I mean,
well,
would it be Black
I
obviously,
believe
Yes.
4chan.
obviously we don't want that.
No, we don't. I'm just saying that's probably what's going to happen.
Is it a
Why?
popular relationship? We don't know. It's just that's what we saw in the trailer.
That'd be a pretty
I don't
dumb
believe they're
relationship,
taking-
IMO.
I don't believe they're taking DEI off. They're just changing names to Bridge. That is very likely,
Yeah.
but we don't have any proof that they are doing that either. So we just kind of need to wait and see.
I thought the woman was Hispanic. I thought so too.
No, she is. The man is white.
Okay, so it's a white man and a Hispanic woman.
Yes. Which, again, I don't find a problem with personally.
No, I don't find a problem. I just, I still believe the schizo theory that 4chan dropped on it.
That's fair.
Which one was that? Or was that what you just already said?
That's what I already said
Oh,
about
okay,
you're
fair
going to be
enough.
getting plowed by Tyrone.
And again, if that happens, it's going to be extremely disappointing. They will definitely get some heat for that, I think. Because it's just like, nobody really
Well, also,
wants
that's
to
the
see
thing.
that. Most people aren't into that kind of shit, so.
The woman protagonist is hot. She is. They actually made her very hot, and she does not look ugly at all.
No. Do you have a picture of her?
I can get one.
Yes, I think some people are going to want some visual representation.
Yeah.
Chat, if you can do me a favor, I'll make sure to twist Akko's arm on it. At me in Akko's server with the meme 4chan post of 4chan describing exactly what I was saying, and I'll make Akko put it on the screen for you.
I would prefer
Actually, you know
not
what?
to.
I'm going to just bring up the most
It's
recent
nothing
trailer.
bad. There's no porn.
I will
Just
bring up
bring
the
it
If
up.
most
we meet the
recent...
super chat goal, sure.
All right.
Chat, meet that
Here.
super chat goal.
All right. Here.
I'll
is
read
on
it
my
out loud
screen.
too. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So we'll watch the trailer.
I'm not going to put noise on, but
That's fine. I am. But
mostly just because I don't want to get copy claims by them.
yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, already on for me. Hold on, let me turn it down. There we go. Hello, hello. They really are going for realism in this game, like hyper realism.
Oh yeah, it's quite impressive.
Like, this is the main male character right here. And like, I'm amazed they gave him this kind of body.
They gave
just-
him the hyper dude.
They did.
They have ray tracing on this man's abs.
Ray traced abs.
Ray traced abs.
Ray traced abs.
Wasn't the 4chan post about how they're gonna make you start off the hot coffee scene as the dude, then swap the POV to her so you're forced to watch her perspective as you get piped? I would rage quit. Yeah, if that is actually what would happen, that is literally just rage bait. I highly doubt that's gonna be the case though.
Himbo body.
Exactly.
And this is the main female character.
I'm gonna be honest, when a girl wears like a very loose black shirt like that, it really doesn't do a whole lot. Although that does.
This.
Oh yeah, that's not bad. She looked pretty.
Like, this looks normal.
It does.
And
It looks like normal
good
GTA.
way.
Power. No chat.
Okay, hi, I'm fucking back now. Goddamn.
I didn't know you left.
Good. But no, yeah, it looks very pretty. I mean, I hope it's gonna be good. I hope it's not gonna.
I hope it's
For
good.
$100, I hope it looks good.
Well, we don't know the price yet.
Oh,
It's gonna be
It's
80.
gonna be $100.
It's
or
very
80 or
likely gonna
100.
be 80. But we cannot say for certain until it's closer to release.
Yeah.
The one thing that I'm worried about. So okay, it does look beautiful. I will give you that. However, I heard they're getting rid of talking about tech stuff. They're getting rid of a process that they've been using for quite a while. I cannot remember the name, but essentially, you remember all those funny ragdoll deaths or how
Yeah.
characters would crumple? They're getting rid of that. so you might not get those interesting.
Oh, they're not going to get
You
the
know.
funny deaths? Like the little like
Yeah.
fall apart?
Pretty much, because the way
no.
the way it used to work is it kind of was like essentially a predictive algorithm based off actual things that they recorded, where you get shot in the knee and then you fall and hunch over and then.
Well, that really
Yeah,
sucks.
no, that-
I mean, did they list a reason for why?
I guess they're just switching over to another system of some sorts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the main schizo rat.
So ironically, this is the one thing about this trailer, because like a lot of people were actually sold for this game with just one trailer, because it doesn't look so far. It doesn't look like DEI slop, which I'm
No.
amazed it doesn't.
No, yeah.
But the fact that they delayed it to this May 26,
Gator.
2026,
Hello, Gator.
it is only coming out on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. People were hoping that this delay meant PC as well.
I mean, like, they kind of should, because
They
a lot
should.
of people were really upset that it was only going to 2 consoles. I mean, now, a lot of people do have Xbox, but, like, Sony, not so much, in my personal opinion, even after all of these years. So I think that, like, them moving to other consoles, or excuse me, not other consoles, to the computer is maybe... I would assume that, like, if they did that, it would be because, we really don't want to... or we want to get as many people as possible, excuse me.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is I wonder if maybe they might be working on it, but they don't want to say definitively they are.
They might just. It's hard to say because again, the PC market is much, much bigger than it was in the past. But
Yeah.
they could still. It's still. You got to understand these companies are a bunch of old fogies.
Well, Rockstar has also come out and actively said PC gamers are cheapskates. And that's
Yeah.
why they're not bringing it to PC day one.
Yep.
Okay, so do we want to get into what Randy Pitchford said and then talk about it? Because I had
Yes.
some interesting opinions. So here's the funny thing. I talked to a lot of people about the raising of prices of games. In fact, I'm going to make a poll right now, chat, while we go through this. I want to know your guys' opinions. And that is, are game studios justified to raise prices after a decade of $60? Because games have not really gone up in price for more than a decade. Yes, justified. No, justified. All right. I want to know your guys' opinions. I already kind of feel like I know what some people are going to say, but I want to just throw out in the perspective that it's been almost an entire decade of games being at $50 to $60 for AAA titles. So now they are jumping up in price. And I had some interesting perspectives from family members and friends, but I kind of want to see what people think. And then as we go through this, I'll kind of tell you guys what I think.
Hang on, let me get the barbecue ready. Got to get it nice and warmed
So-
up.
Randy basically said he's excited for Borderlands 4 on Switch 2, which, understandable. He's CEO of a company. I wouldn't, that's a fair statement. But then someone at Gold Saw or Old Gold Saw, I don't know, came out and said, "Hey, Randy, this game better not be $80. Don't take that risk. A lot of gamers aren't going to pay $80 and feed this notion of constant increase of the price tag. You are the CEO. You have some say with the price when it comes to your publisher." And this is fair. He has some say.
Yes.
Not complete say, thank God, but some say. And Randy responded. A, not my call. B, if you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen. My local game store had Starflight for Sega Genesis for $80 in 1991 when I was just at a high school working minimum wage at an ice cream parlor in Pismo Beach, and I found a way to make it happen.
Randy, if I recall, you also immediately got scooped up and were working on Doom around the 1997 or so.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear it, you yuppie piece of shit. Because you also slacked off on your fucking maps in that game too.
Yeah. So, Old Goldstop responded saying, deleted the second post because I realized it was a bit cringy. I played Borderlands since 2009, bought every Headhunter, DLC, Season Pass, everything since 2009. Real fan. Fuck off, Randy.
Yeah, that's definitely a real fan.
Based.
I also
I've done
find
the
it
same
really
thing.
funny that their initial reply only has 100,000 impressions, and Randy's has 2 million.
Yeah.
Everybody's seen that tweet.
Yeah, no. This tweet has gone around. And then he made another tweet like the dumbass he is. So, Devolver Digital unveiled Mycopunk in response to what Randy said. Basically saying you'll be able to buy Mycopunk for you and 3 of your friends for the price of 1 copy of Borderlands 4.
So like it's 20 bucks.
Devolver's
like
been
20
based for
bucks.
years.
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
you, Devolver. Please never die.
That is pretty good.
And then Randy responded to Devolver and saying Mycopunk is cheaper than a point of meth. Probably has fewer side effects too.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, all right. You really wanna engage with Devolver? Okay. I think Devolver might just fucking elbow drop this motherfucker.
Holy shit. I can't believe he actually said that.
Randy,
When you're
a
already
dumbass.
when you're already in hot water, man. You're already in hot water because you're calling all of your fans,
well,
potential fans, poor, and then you just say,
well, this is on top. We talked about it, I think, 2 months ago or so. A big Borderlands content creator basically tagged Randy saying, please just make a good game. Like, 3 had its issues. Tina's had its issues. God, it had its issues.
It was so bad.
Honestly, okay, Tina's as a base game was good. Its end game was shit, and its DLCs were shit.
I mean, yeah, if you can endure whoever that fucking voice actor, I forget, screeching in your ears made me want to fucking swing from a rope.
No, fair.
Mhm.
But as a gameplay, it was good until end game DLC. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so he just came out and said, hey, please at least make it good. It needs to be a competent release. It needs to be good. And Randy said, I'm blocking you because I don't need negativity for our game. And we're just trying. Yeah. So Randy has already been shat on once this year by content creators for that stupid take. He unblocked this content creator and just muted him instead.
Oh, Randy, you are such a thin-skinned bitch.
He is. And this is after the Borderlands movie, which got nothing but hate.
Randy, for someone as greasy as you, first off, why wasn't Borderlands more gory, my guy? Like, come on. We needed tits, guns, and fun. And you offered none. And then, secondly, with as greasy as you, come on. I'd expect tougher skin. You were there back in the trenches in the old days.
Yeah.
Grow some balls, buddy.
I mean, hell, he's worked with Valve.
Yup.
I will be honest, I don't know too much about the guy, unfortunately, just because I didn't play Borderlands very much. But like, it really is really sad to see him saying this.
I will. Okay, and
Don't worry. He said wonderful things. He dabbled in the political sphere around 2016-18.
Yeah.
Oh, has he really?
Nobody likes a bigot unless he's crying. I wonder if I can pull that up. Let's serenade everyone with these.
I'm not gonna play that. No,
I'm not. But I've already said if Borderlands 4 is $80, I'm not gonna buy it day one.
No, you'd wait for a sale. What's funny is what everybody said is like, oh, you just have to wait for a sale. And with Borderlands, that happens extremely often.
Yeah, it does. If it's $70, I'll buy it because I already accepted 70. Like,
Cock.
70's been the new norm for like 2 years now.
Chat. Make him the soy jack and make me the Chad.
Why?
Because he spent $70. Meanwhile, I don't. I refuse.
I mean, because like, here's the thing. And like I said, I did talk to people about this because, again, we are in an age where video game prices have not really increased for more than a decade. Because I asked some family members about this. I have a family member that like has a business, and so and I'm not talking like small little drop shipping business. I'm talking like actual business. And I asked them, I was like, so what do you think about this? They're thinking of, they've raised the prices. It's probably going to be $80, maybe more. And they're like, well, haven't game companies not raised their prices in X amount of years? And it's just like, yeah, I guess so. But like, there's a lot of little extra things that you're supposed to like put on top of that. Because like, here's the thing. Over a decade ago, they kind of promised us that when it came to digital games were going to cost less than if you got the regular release. Because you had the regular release that was $50 or $60, and then you had like all the game companies coming out and saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, if you get it digital, it's supposed to be cheaper." And it never happened. It never happened that we were supposed to get it cheaper, which it should happen, because if I'm not going to a store and I am just staying home and paying for like my video space to be taken up, yes, it should be 10, maybe $15 cheaper to buy the game, because you're not spending however much money it costs to make the case, to make the stuff to go inside the case, to make the cartridge that probably is like a couple bucks itself. But it's just like, if I'm not paying for a physical edition, you should charge me much less than you do for like, because here's the thing, a license is a couple of bucks. Like it probably costs nothing to make a license for it that you can just hand out to a game console. But like charge what the game is owed to make back your money. But like it should have been cheaper. It should be way cheaper to go digital than it should to go physical, and they never changed that. So that's like my kind of caveat to that is like, yeah, it is technically like a decade later. There has been a steady increase of inflation over the last decade, because yeah, inflation slowly kind of happens as time goes on. However, I don't feel like and people brought this up too, which I feel like is a good point. Games are not increasing in quality. If the games were consistently maintaining the quality that we've had, even since from the last like 5 years, even in the last 5 years, I feel like games had more quality than they do now. But games are not increasing in quality. They're in fact decreasing in quality. We're getting unfinished, broken messes that get fixed with DLC that we are required to pay for in order to get the full product. And it's just like, I agree that if a game was increasing in quality and games were like getting better and better and better, yeah, maybe you could convince me that $70, $80 is fine. Because again, like with inflation happening over time, yes, I'd be fine with that. However, games are not getting better. They're getting worse. And so I'm not willing to pay. I'm not really even willing to pay $60 for shit that I see at most today. And which is why I don't spend money on a lot of the brand new video games, because a lot of the brand new video games suck. I'm way more likely to spend $20 or $30 on reduced platinum in Warframe, because I know that Warframe, despite the little silly things that you sometimes see with it, it's a way better game than a lot of the shit that I see today. Which is why I still give it love and attention, because there's actually love and care put towards it. And I don't know. Sorry for going forward. But like,
fucking music and all sorts of wild things.
Yeah, and plus Warframe's always trying new things that I think is pretty cool. So.
And you know what? You know another game that I'll recommend to everyone? Go play Star Sector. Occo. Go play Star Sector.
You gotta resend me that key, by the way.
I will.
We're also in a weird position right now with games, because we just had Oblivion remastered for $50. We just had Clair Obscur for $50. We're getting Gears of War remastered for $50.
This is very true. Those games, like, because like Oblivion is here's the thing, if they really wanted to, they could say this is a $60 game and people would probably still buy it. I'm sure that there would be people that would complain for it. But like Oblivion, I looked at Oblivion and I was like, man, that is very pretty. And yes, it is a remake, but I could definitely see people justifying $60 for that game.
You know what? I'm going to use another example. Metroid Prime Remastered, $50.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that was
I don't care what they call it. That's a remake, not a remaster.
Yeah.
So there's a clear sign here of higher the price, the shittier it is, the lower the price, seemingly the less shitty it is.
I guess it really depends.
To an extent, if I may. People have been finding all sorts of bugs in goddamn Oblivion, which
Is it?
Well,
Are they
no,
real? Well, I
no.
mean, like, here's the thing: Oblivion
There are a
is
lot of the
done by
original
Bethesda.
Yep.
If it's the original bugs, then I don't really expect that much
A
different.
lot of it, 99. I'm pretty sure like 99% of the bugs people are finding are just the original bugs.
They couldn't edit out
they-
the original bugs. Are you kidding me?
Well, a lot of the original bugs are part of the charm.
but no, hang on, Tim. Was there one that swapped your gender and completely fucked your class?
I believe so.
All right.
Funny.
I just noticed that and I'm like, damn, I would have thought they cleaned it up
Um,
at least a bit instead of putting
Sonic
Oh,
Shadow
that's
Generations
funny.
was 50. Yeah, Sonic Shadow Generations was 50. And that was actually a pretty good release too.
Well,
Yeah.
isn't that like
because
just?
Amp wouldn't shut the fuck up about it.
Isn't that like just Sonic Generations, but it also includes an entirely different story that's basically the exact same length of the main story?
Yes. And that
Yes?
one was just very specifically Shadow.
Okay.
Yep, Shadow X Sonic.
Which it was,
got all
you know,
sorts of memes.
yeah, the memes. Yeah. The amount of Sonic X Shadow I've seen.
MommaOcco.
Jordan Brown, Warwolf.
Thanks,
Thank you for the
Internet.
5.
Your hats. Most of the
Hey,
AAA games
Jordan
So-
Brown.
released don't even meet the justification to be
I don't know.
priced for $30.
Like, we're in a weird
That's
spot
my
right now.
honest
Is like,
opinion.
could 2K make Borderlands 4 and GTA 6 $80 to $100? Sure.
If it is a completely finished thing that does not require like major reworks after day one, maybe, because again, like when it came to, I would say that the only game I've seen that was like $70 or more that was finished day one, that as far as I've seen hasn't gotten any patches or any DLC plans, is
Borderlands
Tears of the
4
Kingdom.
Will absolutely have patches. It will absolutely have DLC. It will absolutely be in continued development through the entire life cycle.
Is that just like a typical thing for them?
That
then?
is a trait they've been doing since the first game.
Yep.
Ugh, I don't like that. I mean, like,
GTA 6, it will have patches, but it realistically will not get any DLC. It will be a finished game.
Yeah, don't forget they also will probably not be too
And have
worried
GTA
because
GTA
they'll
Online.
have their shark cards and other stupid shit.
yeah.
And in 2K's defense, GTA Online had a pretty consistent content flow that you didn't have to pay for.
Yep.
So, I mean, sure, it was GTA Online and not just GTA 5, but I think the point still stands is that it was continued content without having to pay for the extra content.
Yeah. Nintendo updated the game to remove the fun. No, I know that like Nintendo definitely removed exploits out of the game. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is a product that does not have critical issues that have to be addressed that make the
there were
game
no game-breaking
impossible.
bugs. There was no DLC. They patched it, but
Like Tears of the Kingdom is the only game that I can think of that was $70 where it's just like you can probably justify it because it was a finished and complete game.
and they could have left it with all the exploits and stuff too, and it would have been just as well.
Yeah.
Also, I would
Like-
like to just point out GTA 6. People are like, oh, it's going to be so awesome. It'll probably be awesome,
Yeah.
you know, till let's say, I want to say a weekend. And then, you know, the usual suspects show up and it just turns into rocket death matches. Because that's
No, yeah.
how everything goes nowadays. No one's using guns and shit. It's just immediately who can whip the rocket launcher or sticky bombs out first.
Exactly. And you pay for the content with the shark cards. Yes, but if you already had, it's like Helldivers. I'm going to use Helldivers in the same example.
Oh, we're going to talk about them tonight too, huh?
Well, when there were a lot of people that were saying like, oh my God, you have to pay for like, because they added the stratagems and they added weapons and stuff into their battle passes.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And they're like, oh, but you have to buy them because then they shouldn't have to buy these because, but you could get them by just playing the game. And that's the same thing with GTA is like, yes, you could buy the shark cards and be able to get all the new weapons they added, get all the new stuff, to be able to pay for X, Y, and Z. Or you could just play the game.
It's just
Paying
slower.
for stuff is the fast track to do it, but they're not hindering you and saying you have to pay for it.
Right.
And I think that's the way to do it. If you want to pay, pay. But don't be forced to pay.
I honestly, because I know some people disagree or whine, but I'm just like, I remember as a kid, I honestly would probably have enjoyed the way Helldivers 2 does it, where, you know, you can play and grind, because at least for me, the mindset I have when I do things is I like a challenge. I see, oh, you want my money? Well, I'm going to play and not spend $1, because you're basically buying stuff to make it easier.
Mm-hmm.
And for people like me that are psychos, we like challenge.
Yep. Did they
Do
ever
they
give money
the
back?
to the...
No. No, as far as I know,
that's
no.
Sony. That's the problem. Is like, I'm not gonna say Arrowhead's not guilty, but a lot of the problems with Helldivers is not Arrowhead. It is Sony.
Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
Jordan
No company's perfect, but Sony's the problem.
Here,
in
you
that
know,
department.
one moment.
Speaking of HD2, grab a rifle. Get diving. You don't care what difficulty you choose.
Oh, you're not reading it out?
No, the voice to text reads it out for me.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
very
It didn't play
confused.
on our end.
No, I know. I mean, like, if I played it on your end, you would have to listen to music as well.
That's fair.
I don't think you want to listen to music from my end.
It's worse. Full price games coming, hyper monetization and monthly subscription disguised as battle passes also kills any chance of their justification for price raising. No, yeah. And that's the thing, is like, you could charge $60 and have a battle pass in there and, you know, have X, Y, and Z, and that would be fine. But the fact that they're raising games to 70 to 80 to 90 to 100, on top of including the hyper monetization and the battle passes, that is what's
It's just like, where does the greed stop, in my personal opinion? You know what I mean? I'm looking at all of this, and I have to wonder, how much is enough? And why do you have to continue to keep asking for it? Because, like, I legitimately look at all this, and I'm saying, and I have to ask, like, where are you, like, missing massive amounts of money? Like, what's the problem here? You know?
Shareholders, infinite growth, the usual.
Yeah, it's all shareholders.
Well, I'm sure that that's probably a
It's
part of it.
investors.
I'm sure that's probably a part of it. But, like, it's not sustainable, because eventually you're gonna piss off enough people that they're just not gonna do any. They're not gonna be interested.
Exactly, and that's the thing. You know, I even tried to explain that to my boomer father, but even he doesn't seem to get it. It's like, in a industry like this, you have to develop a relationship with the gamers in order to get them to play. And if you constantly are pissing on them and constantly making more and more grabs like this, you are going to erode the market to where, congrats, you are expanding your profit margins at your own detriment, because you're going to have what's it called, less return on investment, over time.
So to keep it going, because we could go in circles for hours,
Of course.
the Baldur's Gate 3 publishing director responded to Randy
He
Pitchford.
did. He was very pissy about that.
So he actively said Randy Pitchford's $80 Borderlands 4 comments. He calls Randy Pitchford's $80 Borderlands 4 comments gross because it implies the first-person shooter is more important than making it day to day.
Yep. So, congrats, Randy. You just got fucking hoisted.
You got
by your
Larian
tongue.
down your throat now.
He got BTFO'd by Larian. That's really funny.
Larian has very quickly become a top dog
Yeah.
and is smacking. You know that meme of like the really angry guy just going around like the backyard smacking everyone?
Yeah.
Larian's the guy smacking everyone.
I mean, Larian is like I would say they've done enough to where they can probably like give some opinions, you know?
Well, Sven Vink is constantly, every time they invite him to a big event, he opens his mouth and he makes every company pissed off.
Yeah.
And I love it.
They're gonna get fucking executed in the next 5 years.
Larian?
Yep.
Yeah, we don't. A lot of the rumors we're hearing is that they're not even going to be releasing their next game until 2028.
Yep. All right. Well, pack your bags, boys. Baldur's Gate 3 was wonderful. Whatever Larian's going
Well, no,
to
Larian's I'm
is
pretty
dead.
sure. Larian, I'm pretty sure is private, like Valve.
Good. Good. If they are, then good. I love you guys. Thank you. Please never die. And if any shitheels try to get into your company, throw them the fuck out from the 4th floor window.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Magma, for the 20. Since we weren't able to stop in time, I'll go ahead and read that later. But thank you.
I'll fucking read it.
You can read it when we get to a stopping point.
Yeah,
Okay.
but Randy really just hasn't helped the industry at all, and he's just making it worse.
It really just sounds like he doesn't understand how things work. Isn't he like a gamer though? That's the thing that I'm like confused by. Isn't he like a gamer of some kind, or is he just a programmer?
He was
Yeah.
in the original creation and the original company that created Doom.
Yeah.
So he's been there from the beginning. It's just now he's decided to become such a soy-filled bitch that wants to obsess over everything else at the actual detriment of the original gamers.
Mm-hmm.
He
Oh,
no
you know what?
longer-
That's another game that he was in charge of.
Yeah.
Duke Nukem Forever.
Yep. It was.
Wasn't that a game that never happened?
No,
Yeah,
that
it
game
was,
happened.
It's just people don't like it.
It was one of
Yeah.
the biggest shit fests that's ever existed in game.
8 fucking years. We would make the memes. Did not finish DNF. And he's like, oh, I love a good joke. I own the Duke Nukem franchise. It's like, you are such a fucking bastard. You are a rotten son of a bitch, too.
Larian has fuck you money and they act like it. Yes, I think Larian's also come out and has actively said that they will not work with Hasbro again.
Good.
Because Hasbro had caused so many problems for them.
It's unfortunate because Baldur's Gate was amazing, but I can understand that. Hasbro are literal tumors.
I love
Just a little
BG3.
bit, yeah.
I mean, I've been playing it again on Saturday nights with a couple of friends on stream.
You have, yes. And that's why everybody should subscribe to you, because once you hit 500 subscribers, you're going to have to play Scary Game on camera.
I'm going to have to play Scary Game. Chat, 500 subs. I made a promise to chat that I'd play Resident Evil 7 for the first time.
And I've been taking my time, going at it slowly with Baldur's Gate because I never actually got to engage with it. And sweet Jesus, it is great, especially with all the mods. Oh, sweet Jesus, the mods.
Wait, did you install porn mods? Please tell me you didn't.
There's porn mods?
Yo,
Okay.
there's porn mods.
Okay, good.
Yes, there's porn mods.
Yeah, Ava showed me a few of them, and I was just like, huh. Okay.
Yeah, there's porn mods.
Why am I not surprised, Ava?
They're not
Ava,
in.
if you're
they're
listening,
not
I'm
in the.
smacking you. I am
they're
just
not in the mod
astrally
manager.
projecting a slap.
Listen, Ava is a very, very, very not expensive, a very busy lawyer. When she's not saving the world, she's gonna just have some fun on her own. You know, it's all right. I don't
No
care.
chat, no feet at 600. You will not get feet.
What?
Absolutely not.
Wait, what?
No, add a K to the end of that, and then maybe.
600,000?
No, 600. Yeah, 600K.
All right,
I'm
gonna
not
have
gonna say
14
no,
on in the
yes.
background. We're gonna play 14 in the background chat. I haven't
But
played
yes,
14 in forever.
Chat, you should sub to me because we're at 472 last time I looked, and that means we're inching ever closer to Resident Evil 7.
But yeah, I only liked. I just enjoyed the pretty outfits and the things that make the outfits look even prettier. Because I'm like, damn, this shit looks good.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So,
Also, very highly detailed tits.
What game doesn't have nude mods? The
Yeah,
Harry Potter
exactly.
game. The Harry Potter game.
no,
if you
that one does.
Let me finish. Let me finish. The Harry Potter game, if you only go through official sources, because if you go through official sources, all they give you is like clothing mods. I should know.
Yeah. Well,
I should know. I
Baldur's Gate
tried.
3 is the same way. There's no like you in the mod manager. There's no lewd mods.
Yeah.
Period. You have to go through other sources to get them, but they do exist.
Pretty
Even
much.
Warhammer fucking 3 has porn.
Yeah. And that's why it was weird a few years ago when Nintendo and Blizzard both tried getting rid of like their specific like porn and like art and everything, and it's like, no, you're not winning that fight, either of you.
Oh boy, I have not done
the more
Rogue in
you
a while.
remove, the more it's getting added.
Oh dear God. Anyways,
Anyway.
back on topic.
Well, that was actually the end of our topic about Randy.
So just to end cap it, he's a lazy piece of shit. He was not the best even in Doom. Was a lazy ass in Shadow Warrior. He is the Grease King, and even Larian now is fanning the flames and wanting to slap the shit out of him for basically saying starve and buy our game versus, you know, feeding your family.
Yep.
Pretty much. Overwatch is only relevant due to spicy mods. You know what's funny?
Yes.
Speaking of Overwatch, this isn't something that like I've brought up
Okay,
really.
you just reminded me something. Finish your sentence and I'm gonna rant.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say that Overwatch is now adding sexy characters back into the game. They made a new character that is inherently like sexy.
And they have
That's kinda
Street Fighter outfits now.
So I was gonna say, you mentioning that just reminded me. Poor little Randy here tried to make a game to compete with Overwatch. I believe it was Battleborn.
Battleborn, yeah. Battleborn came out the same week as Overwatch 1. Battleborn is now turned off and dead.
It's dead.
I never heard of
And
this
the
game.
worst part. Oh yeah, of course you didn't, because it was the fucking Pepsi to Overwatch's cola at the time.
Oh, that's funny.
And not only that, Randy got so desperate, he paid an artist. I think he paid Shatman to make
No.
the character.
Did he really? There is no way he paid the
I don't know if it was Shatman.
You gotta
but
be
I know
shitting.
some porn was made.
You gotta be shitting. I don't think that you're telling the truth here, man.
Well, hey, if Randy sees this, feel free to correct the record, sir. We're very
Randy sees
interested
this-
to know.
If Randy sees this, we're all getting blocked by him. I hope you know that.
That's
Oh no,
fine.
blocked me.
I don't care.
Oh god, he blocked me.
I don't care. That's
1v1
Anyway.
me on Doom, bitch.
I listen. I don't want to like saying that somebody commissioned Shadman is like also just as bad as saying that somebody might have CSAM on their account. So I wouldn't say that unless you have proof. Just
Yeah,
saying that's not
exactly.
fair. All right. I know
No, I
that like the
wasn't
guy's a
accusing
scumbag.
that.
Guy's a
wasn't
scumbag, but I
accusing
don't
that.
think that that's fair to him.
Yeah.
Remember Nintendo accidentally making browser dick canonical? Yeah, that was the thing.
Oh gosh. Do you
I
remember?
mean, to be fair, ironically, Nintendo was actively considering making Bowsette canon.
They did, and then they
Yes.
realized that that was a bad idea.
Yeah,
Aw.
no, they realized, but they were considering it, and then they saw all the porn.
I mean, like inherently, that is all that Bowsette is.
Yeah, she's porn. That's it.
It's kind of funny though.
Not bad porn though, mind you.
You're funny, Tim. Speaking of Nintendo, a funny little like bring back to the past. Do you remember their little mishap with making a post about a Wiggler and
Yes.
Wigger Wednesdays? That was
Yeah.
was the funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
So, hang on, I gotta shout out. Thanks, Gator. I actually very much appreciate it. I'm writing that down now and have that in another tab. For those that don't know, Gator's been helping me out. My mouse, the flywheel is broken. So when I'm
the mouse
playing the game, you know, I'm trying to snipe and then suddenly have a melee weapon equipped. It's not
The
good.
mouse I use is the Logitech G903. I do love this mouse.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, my a friend from work, I was talking to him about it, and he gave me to borrow the Logitech mouse, the one with the fucking ball.
Oh God, I'm sorry. Oh.
Oh.
Dude, no, it actually's been working. I've been playing EDF and I haven't died.
I had to use a ball mouse like a couple days ago. Oh my God. Oh.
It feels good.
I don't know,
really does
man.
not feel good.
I'm telling you, once you get used to it, shit is, you can just spin on a damn dime.
I don't know. Excuse me. Anyway. Anyway.
There's not really much to talk about this, but Lilo and Stitch earned 341 million on the opening weekend.
Oh, right. So, do you guys care about spoilers for the change of this new movie?
Blow the fuck out of it.
So I guess at the end of the movie, Nani just gives away Lilo to their neighbor so that she can go travel overseas and study.
Uh-huh.
And so
remember, everyone, Ohana means fuck your family, fuck your little sister, throw her to the side.
Okay, don't say fuck your, don't say that. Don't say that.
You're right. But anyways, you know, fuck your family. Just go ahead and go abandon them and, I don't know, go sleep with random people overseas or something.
And the problem is like,
I got nothing to say there.
I've actually heard like I've heard some people say it's an awful movie, but I've also heard some people say like comparatively to Disney's other live action remakes, it's at least decently competent until that.
Yeah, I talked about it yesterday when I was on the Archcast, and it just does not sound... It just sounds like they've gutted a lot of the original movie in form of just being, like, very middle of the road. Because I think that... and I said this yesterday, I think that Disney is running into the thing where now... Because this movie, I feel like they put down in the middle of between not woke happening and woke happening. So they like tried to make massive changes, I feel like, to the movie so that they could get something that wouldn't upset the audiences that are deciding that woke sucks. So it did feel like it was very middle of the road. Like it wasn't woke at all. But by the same token, like there was a distinct lack of familyness in there. And I think a lot of people were upset with that.
Oh, yeah. No, they were.
Gator, if I 1v1 you in a game and beat you with this Logitech mouse, you have to rock claw. And as for the movie,
excuse me.
Fuck that abomination. The fact that they got rid of Gantu.
They
I know
did.
why, because we
okay.
don't want to animate it.
Admittedly, their animation budget was probably already pretty high with CGI.
Sucks to suck. I mean, you already use slave labor from Korea to make it, so
I mean,
boo-hoo,
it's
you've got enough money.
That's kind of what happens when you turn something that is inherently like supposed to be more of a what am I trying to say? It's not something that's easily turned into a live action movie because there's a lot of shit there.
Well, not only that, but the other thing was, it was like they made Jumbo look like a fucking crackhead.
Did they really?
Jumbo looks fucking horrific. Same with Beakley.
Oh dear.
Bleakley. Eh.
Oh,
Well, I heard.
Mako, have fun with.
I haven't done this boss since I first did it, so you know I'm just gonna follow.
Have fun.
I forgot what to do. Oh fuck! Now he wants me. No, take the other tank, please. Anyway, but yeah, so like the movie, it really wasn't much of anything from what I've heard. It was very middle of the road, very just not much of anything.
Yeah.
It was basically a nothing burger, but because it wasn't totally incompetent, it made a fairly decent amount.
Yeah, it made its money back, which was like 200 million. The budget was 100. Marketing was a 100. They made it back basically, and so
Sadly.
They did.
Well, I think that like it's what I don't know. I'm kind of like it's whatever. I don't like seeing people lose. Well, I mean Disney, I'm fine with them losing money because they kind of need to in order to fix their shit, and I don't think they're going to fix their shit until they lose enough money.
Admittedly, chat, is this Final Fantasy 14? Yes, Akko is playing Final Fantasy 14. Admittedly, in response to, I guess, Lilo and Stitch, Marvel also delayed both Avengers films.
That's right. They delayed them till like later in the year for one and next year for another.
So Doomsday was going to come out in May 2026. It is now delayed to December 2026. And then Secret War is also delayed to December 2027.
Did they give a reason?
They've not given us a reason, except they're saying that they're going to use this time to make it a better movie.
Yeah, so what that means is we're cutting out some of the shit we were going to put in, and we also are desperately going to need more reshoots.
So, okay, well, I would agree if this was if this was happening like maybe maybe 3 to 4 months before it was supposed to release. The fact that it's May 25 now, and it wasn't supposed to come out till May 26, and we're already being told there's a delay, doesn't quite have me believing that.
I bet you I'm right.
You probably are right.
There's a chance you are, yeah.
But I'm also not gonna give them I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here because it is such a massive delay when it was already a year away.
I think I'm confident in putting my money on. Oh god, we need to course correct and tear out DEI.
I mean, to be fair, if they're course correcting now, good. Do it now and not when you're really close to release.
No, I agree.
Yes.
I think it's a good thing that they are course correcting. And now here's an interesting since we are talking about DEI just kind of like slowly being shifted out. There is some chatter, and I am interested in seeing what people think. My opinion is that it's not going away permanent. That's just my personal opinion, is that it's not going away permanently. But some people are under the assumption that it is basically going away permanently because it's unpopular. And my personal opinion is no, not really. I think that they're going to continue to try, bridge the thing that is brought up by everybody is I do believe that is legitimately a big deal that people are not really giving enough stock to. It's probably not gotten a lot of attention as of recent because of DEI going away, but I am not of the opinion that it's over. And I think that if people, I legitimately think if people think that it's over, they are either trying not to be horribly mean here, but I think that people are misinformed or don't understand. I guess there's a little chance that they could be malicious, but
here's what I think is going to happen. It's not going away. It is going to go away for some period of time. People are they're going to basically
if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's going to only fully go away in 2 generations if people keep hammering on it.
It does take about 2 generations, yeah. I agree.
So don't expect it to go away. Don't be celebrating early victories until things are actually stamped out.
Realistically, we're going to see less of it.
We will, because it's going to be shoved into the corner, but you're still going to have the religious zealots and other people who are going to be trying to push for it. They just are having to be more covert about it. Otherwise, they might get jumped.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck. I'm dead.
So,
I think I'm the only one to die.
Admittedly, I do kind of want to watch Doomsday because we have a bit of a leak that excites me about it. Back when they revealed casting, because they revealed the Fox X-Men actors, so Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen, Hugh Jackman, stuff like that. What the leak that I heard is that there actually is going to be a pretty big fight scene between Ian McKellen's Magneto and RDJ's Doctor Doom.
Uh-huh.
Which, personally, that just sounds like a spectacle. That sounds fun.
Yeah, it might be. I'm not
crossing your or not, excuse me, not holding your breath.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold my breath on anything, mate.
We'll wait till it comes out in Disney Plus.
The only thing, oh god, he has Disney Plus. Chat, get him, lynch him.
Well, it was a part of Hulu.
I know, but still. Nail him to a cross, chat.
Anyway,
You see what's funny is I got Disney Plus for free because I have a TV that gave it for free. Isn't that kind of funny that like we're at the point now where Disney Plus is being added on with you purchasing TVs, or just like I also get it for free from my Wi-Fi because my Wi-Fi provider is like, oh yeah, you get it for free with your pack. So I just have Disney Plus for free because I pay for my Wi-Fi. Which is already partial. Yeah,
that shows you how desperate they are.
I thought it was incredibly crazy to be like, wait, why am I getting this service for free when it costs like because I asked my parents, I was like, how much do you pay for Disney Plus? They're like $20-$30 a month. I can't remember the specifics, but it was over $20, and I'm just like, why am I getting it for free for Wi-Fi that comes as part of my rent? It just makes no sense to me.
I'm just gonna enjoy watching. The only thing recently that Hollywood's putting out that I'm gonna check out, and I'll mention this to everyone else since I feel like it's kind of been quiet and I'm very worried about it. Ballerina. Check out Ballerina.
What's
It's
Ballerina?
in the John Wick universe.
Oh, okay.
oh,
John Wick's
that,
pretty good.
yes.
And another one that's also going under the radar. Nobody 2.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Chat brings up a good point. Free, meanwhile, the back end see people are getting Disney Plus. No, yeah, like they are doing it specifically so that they can prove that they have numbers. When it's just like they don't really have numbers. They just have people that they have put on it.
Yep.
So
Well, that was what was going on with Helldivers. Remember when Sony was like forcing PS Plus or PSN, everyone?
yeah, it's specifically to
not-
get numbers.
Is to get numbers. That's exactly it.
Yep.
Because we have so like a big topic still to do, I am going to lean a bit more into our other one.
A marathon update?
Apparently, Marathon might be delayed.
Marathon is delayed, chat. Indefinite. That's not the only.
No, there's no confirmation of a delay.
Oh, there's no confirmation of a delay.
There's no confirmation of a delay. It is just rumored.
Okay.
I get energy every time this piece of shit fucking bleeds. Like, good. Fuck you for what you're trying to do to Marathon. I honestly hope that this thing crashes and burns. And if it doesn't even come out, I consider that an absolute win. A total victory.
So this is what Game Post came out and said. Bungie's Marathon is likely to be delayed as a new report claims Sony has now canceled all paid marketing plans.
Yeah, I know that doesn't really mean a whole lot, but like if they're not even paying for marketing anymore, they must not have a lot of stock that they want to put into it.
Yep.
No, yeah. So from the business side, if you are essentially cutting all marketing, you basically are saying, okay, well, still under contract to release this piece of shit, but we are cutting all ties. We do not want to waste a single dollar on this shit.
Mm-hmm. And the Game Post goes into what we talked about last week with the art scandal and everything.
An art scandal that should be game ending, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For most normal games, it is.
Congrats, Bungie is full of a bunch of thieves.
Which has been the case for a long time.
I mean, here's the thing that's incredibly funny is Bungie, yes, they have game thieves, but some of the previous times that this has happened, it has been because of third-party businesses that they work with. So they didn't even
contracted.
Yeah. Ow. Like it was excusable a little bit more then. It's just not excusable now.
And
not
apparently,
anyway.
Game Post is saying that there's another report claiming that after the mixed reaction to the closed alpha, Bungie themselves already pushed back its marketing and pre-order plans.
You think it's Bungie that's pushing it back?
Playtest. No. Sony has apparently basically halted all paid marketing plans or canceled all of them. But Bungie might be doing the same thing and going to public playtests instead of open betas. So basically early access instead of like a paid release is what this sounds like.
Yeah.
It is very possible that Bungie, they may actually end up selling the game for like a loss and do early access on it.
Okay.
Nothing says
I don't
you're
know.
confident in your product like early access and trying every little tactic possible.
That's a really sad way to go, in my personal opinion.
So this is what came out. Sony reportedly canceled all paid marketing for Marathon, delay incoming. Now a new report claims that Sony has canceled all paid marketing plans for Marathon. This information comes from Colin Moriarty, who shared the news in the latest paywalled episode of the Sacred Symbols Plus podcast. This reportedly came from someone familiar with the marketing efforts in an overseas market and is considered an unfairly unusual move for a game of this high profile. Saying, I was told by someone familiar with marketing plans in a key overseas market that there are now no plans to do paid marketing for Marathon at all. Moriarty said during the podcast, I don't know if those plans were affected by what has recently happened or if that was always the plan or whatever, but it is considered a fairly unusual move for a game of this high profile.
By the way, that's quite amusing, Sacred Symbols, because if I remember correctly, Chris Raygun is a part of that.
Part of Sacred
Funny
Symbols?
little, yeah, that's a funny little thing.
At
least to me.
Okay.
Unless he's not a part of it anymore.
Thank you, Mercenary, for the
I don't even know who you're talking
5. We did talk about the magical little USB stick.
We hit the goal. Akko, we hit the goal.
We did hit the goal. Did you find the story?
What was the goal?
Which story?
The there was a goal for people to get me to read like the 4chan posts. Did you find
the
it?
4chan
Right.
post. Chat, did anyone find it? At me in the Discord. If anyone's got it. While I'm looking for that, you continue on doing what you're good at, yapping.
Okay.
So that's all we have for Marathon. Like it's not surprising in the slightest.
It's not.
But-
It's still just incredibly sad and unfortunate.
It is.
Because actually, it's not really sad and unfortunate anymore. It's really just pathetic in my personal opinion. Like, again, I will maintain what I said in the last stream about Marathon. It deserves to die. It deserves to die, and everybody that worked on it deserves to have, like, no job because, like, this shit is so ass, man.
Mm-hmm. A similar thing happened to DI happened here in Brazil a few decades ago. Was forced into politically correctness that happened in every media. It took almost 10 years to push back to things go back to normal. Yeah. No, yeah. DEI will. It's going to be nigh impossible to get rid of.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Anyway, chat. Elden Ring Night Ring comes out in a few days.
It does. Are you interested in it?
I've already pre-ordered it.
Isn't it like that the one where it's like mostly PvP?
No. Night Rain is a roguelite.
Right, I remember that now. Right.
It is a co-op roguelite. It is $40, I think.
Is it like is it like a DLC of the main game basically?
No, it is its own game.
Okay.
It's 40. Okay. It's its own game. It's it's basically an alternate reality because again, bad dog numbers. I didn't pre-order it. A friend pre-ordered it for me. I wasn't even ask him to pre-order it for me, and he did.
Was it like payment?
No. He just wanted to.
Was it Cat?
So it was Cat. Yeah.
I'm
not gonna say no to that because I was intending on buying it anyway.
Yep, that's fair.
But yeah, so this comes out in a few days. So it says, and this is on Bandai Namco's official post, saying a new 3-player co-op experience from Software set in the Elden Ring universe. Elden Ring Night Rain is a new co-op experience that charges players with the task of launching expeditions into the land of Limveld in order to hunt and destroy one of the 8 Night Lords.
Here you go, Akko. You gotta put that on screen.
So let's go. Elden John is back. So we do not get to make our own character in Night Rain, which is fine from a balancing standpoint because it is a co-op roguelite.
John Elden Ring.
All right, do you want me to read this?
Yes.
All right. 2025. Well, this is already incorrect because it's coming out in 2026. GTA 6 arrives. First ever female protagonist in GTA history. 495 gigabyte download. Oh well. Clear every game in inventory. 30-hour install. Boot up game. 2-hour update. Install. Start game. Opening scene. You're getting vigorously piped down by the male side character. That's not what I thought it was. I thought it was like I thought you said that it was
Tyrone.
I thought it was going to be some NTR, but like the side character is the dude.
Yeah, all right. So, hey, guess
You know
it ain't
what?
gonna be that bad.
Listen, I am fine if like the opening scene is just her getting piped by her husband. All right.
No.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, you're okay with that, huh?
Glad to found you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I try my best to be entertaining for people, and it seems like some people are happy with that. I also just try to do a tiny bit of journalism, which sounds disgusting for me to say on the side, but anyway,
So-
you may continue.
For the premise of Night Rain, basically saying Limveld is a region engulfed by the forces of night, which erodes the stability of reality. Each time you enter Limveld, things will change. Different enemies will infest the castles and fortresses. Camps and churches will be scattered in new locations. Unusual events can appear unexpectedly, and even the land itself may shift in dramatic ways that offer exciting and challenging opportunities to increase your power. So basically, it is more Elden Ring with set characters because because it is a randomly generated world. Having something that is not randomly generated is probably for the best in terms of the characters.
Yep. So like,
you will face these.
oh, I was just gonna ask. So like, the game is focusing around like, it's a roguelite, right? So
Yes.
what is gonna be not procedurally generated? I guess. I'm assuming
The
like
characters.
Okay, the characters in the story.
Pretty much the characters in the story. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
You will face.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just simply going to say this is reminding me a lot of, I think it was called Project Moon or whatever, for Prey 2016. They had a roguelite.
I don't even know which one. I know Prey 2016. I remember that one, but I don't remember like the specific one you're talking about.
So there was a roguelike element where essentially, the facility stays relatively the same, but, the character you played was different every time. Another thing, I don't think this changed, could be wrong, but essentially you're trying to get off.
It was Moon Crash.
Moon Crash, yeah.
It was a DLC for Prey, and it was insanely good. Okay.
It was amazing, dude.
So that, based on everything we've seen for Night Rain, it's just more Elden Ring.
Yes.
Which is good. I know some people have seen Dark Souls 2 bosses, Dark Souls 3 bosses. I'm pretty sure there's I think there's a Bloodborne boss in there somewhere.
The only thing that I'm curious, because Moon Crash did this, but I don't know if they're going to, was this. So if you yoinked a bunch of supplies, again, on the next character, those supplies ain't coming back.
No,
So
I
you
don't
basically
think so.
made it harder on yourself for your next run.
Yeah.
No, yeah. So the post goes on to say you will face these challenges as one of 8 Nightfarers. So the Nightfarers are playable characters. So again,
Oh, so you don't get to make your own character, or?
We will not get to make our own character. They are 8 preset characters, but that means 8 preset classes. So like a mage, an archer, X, Y, and Z.
So, and I'm assuming they already have builds, and you're not going to make a build. You're just going to be.
No, you can make builds.
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
It's just
because that's part of the fun of the game.
That's part of the fun. You can make builds. It's just they're kind of preset. So it's like it's a preset character. It is one that you can it is like there already is a name for the character. There's already a role for the character. There's already other stuff, but it all depends on the weapons you find, the armor you find.
Okay. And
that's what it comes down to.
That itself is going to be procedurally generated.
Yes.
And thank you, none of your business, because I messed up and called it Project Moon because I've got Lobotomy Corp on the brain.
I might be paranoid. I might be seeing the writing on the wall, but I'm skeptical for the future of FromSoft. FromSoft has said that they're still focused on massive, well-crafted single-player games, but their next 2 titles are multiplayer-focused games. So Night Rain is handled by a side team.
Oh, so it's going to be interesting.
Exactly. And to be fair, we don't quite know the specifics about the new one that they're doing for Switch 2.
Uh-huh.
We know there's PvP, but that's not out of the realm of possibility because Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and Bloodborne and Elden Ring all had PvP to a certain degree. So I don't see a problem with that.
Bull, change your fucking smoke alarm.
That was my fucking AC unit, you shit.
Are you sure about that?
Gee, am I sure? Hey, AC unit, are you sure? Are you sure, eh? Huh?
Anyway. Yeah, it's a B team. So I'm not too concerned about this. Miyazaki is in charge of the one on Switch 2, but Miyazaki also wanted to do more Bloodborne, and Sony won't let him do more Bloodborne.
So
this game is kind of just... He made it up, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hero-based extraction version of Bloodborne. It's still got Miyazaki on it. Miyazaki actually has a level of quality he likes, though.
Yes.
I'm not worried about it. If it's bad, we'll criticize it then. But so far, FromSoft has not given us a reason to be concerned.
Stealth Archer always wins. You know, I actually saw the Viva La Dirt League video of that the other day because it was a funny joke where they're like, well, we're going to make our own class. We're going to do something different than Stealth Archer. And then they end up with Stealth Archer's like, Stealth Archer's just the best, man.
Mm.
And it's just 'cause, yeah.
Anyway, so they go and say each expedition, so expedition is your run, takes place over 3 days, culminating in a confrontation with a specific Night Lord on the final day. You will start as a level 1 character and must use the time before your final battle to find weapons, tools, and the resources to level up your character.
Well, we will see, and depending on what happens, either we'll put Temp in the stocks to have tomatoes thrown at him, or we're going to put Magma in the stocks to have tomatoes thrown at him.
That's fair.
I mean, if not Night Rain, it'll be the other one. The one he's talking about specifically is the Switch 2 one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if FromSoft does bad, I'll call them out on it. But so far, FromSoft, like the only time FromSoft has given us a quote unquote bad game in the last 15 years, I think, has been Dark Souls 2. And it's not a bad game, it's just considered bad because Miyazaki wasn't on it.
Wait, which one?
Dark Souls 2.
Okay. Isn't that everybody's favorite one?
Dark Souls 2 has been getting a lot more popularity lately.
Yeah, no, when it first came out, it was not very liked.
But I don't know. We'll see.
Indeed, we will. Indeed, we will.
I will be playing Night Rain. In fact, chat, I'm going to put a poll in my Discord. So, chat, you should join the Discord.
Join the Discord, chat.
Join the Discord. But because this game comes out on Thursday, and actually I think it comes out officially on Friday, I am debating not doing a Final Fantasy stream this week. Instead, doing Night Rain. I can do open lobby with chat and just do Night Rain runs.
Oh, so you're just going to let the chat come in and play with you?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
It's up if chat wants to see Night Rain on Friday.
Chat, if you get a shotgun or something and friendly fire is enabled, you must point blank him.
There's no shotguns. It's a fantasy game.
Damn it. But Bloodborne had guns.
Yeah, that's Bloodborne.
Yeah, that's Bloodborne. Elden Ring isn't.
If you get the suicide bomb spell, blow him up.
Anyway, so they said, win or lose, at the end of each expedition, you will receive relics that can be used to give your Nightfarer certain augmentations, such as increased starting stats or specific starting items. Use these relics to help you adapt your strategy to exploit the weaknesses of the Night Lords or adapt to the changes in Limveld. Hunt, survive, learn, and adapt to bring an end to the Reign of Night. So it's kind of like Hades in that regard. Which, I don't mind that. That sounds really cool.
Hades 1 was good.
Hades 2.
I never played Hades 2, but I heard a lot of people didn't like it.
I heard that people didn't really like how the art direction went.
Oh yeah, because they made everyone fuck ugly.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how. I'm pretty sure there will be DLC characters for Night Rain, because it is going to be a cheaper game, and because it's a cheaper game, because of like the nature of it, it will be kind of live servicey, so they can like give us like other characters or some other stuff, to keep the game fresh. But at launch, we are getting 8 playable characters. The Wilder, a wandering warrior with straightforward skills that are simple to use, but holds hidden complexity that is revealed to you as you master them. So I'm guessing that's like our basic Dark Souls character, Dark Souls, Elden Ring character, whatever.
I would not be
John
surprised if all of these characters are like based off of the classes that were.
There's already a character that kind of looks like Lady Maria in Bloodborne, which is, I think, is the Duchess.
Yeah.
So the Guardian, Knight of the Pinion Folk, who has excellent options of both attack and defense. The Duchess, a fleet-footed noble thief who attacks and dodges swiftly and at a lowered stamina cost. The Recluse, a mysterious mage with the ability to mix elemental residues into powerful spells. Iron Eye, a deadly archer with unerring accuracy and an instinct for finding the weak spot of any foe. And Raider, a robust pirate who prefers enormous weapons and close combat. So those are the 8 we're getting at launch.
And they're going to bring a lot more.
We assume.
That
okay.
magic dude is either going to be the most OP or super fucking garbage.
Yeah. So this is good. This is something that people were not sure about. Night Rain can be played with 2 other players as a 3-person team or played solo. Solo mode does not require online connectivity. So you can play it solo. My problem from hearing this is that they're not saying that you cannot play it with like, oh, you only have one friend who also has it. You can do a 2-player. It's 3-player or solo. That is it.
Pain.
Only
as
3
far
players?
as release times,
Only 3 players?
Only 3 players.
Oh.
And we got the release dates. This is why they said Friday. Because for me, over on the Pacific in California, the game comes out on Thursday at 9 p.m., which means basically Friday for everyone else. I will be right back. I need to go to the bathroom.
All right. I love how he just like immediately left right after saying that.
Yep. And people just reminded me, Armored Core. Yeah, that needs more DLC. That game's fucking good.
Well, while he's gone, I'll read the super chats that weren't read out by the thing.
Proceed to yap.
All right. Like I said, if it was a $5 one, it'll read out automatically for you. So we'll be skipping over anything over $5 unless they're like massive. Shadow for the 2. Bring back DSP and ban Hassan. You know what? I'd be down for that. I'd be down for that for sure. Wolfsbane for 2. Wolfsbane for 2. They're probably just doing the bridge thing. No, I could believe that. I believe that could definitely be the case. Magma for 20. A lot of multiplayer games nowadays is still trying to chase the success of Fortnite with all the collabs, WotC, Bungie, to name a few, while at the same time charging full price for a game and then adding FOMO Battle Pass to the shop. Yeah.
I return.
Oh, yeah. Let's see here. The Mercenary for 5. Do you guys still talk about Randy? If so, remember the medieval times memory stick. I heard rumors that there was legal stuff. Yeah, we already talked about that, but there was, as far as we know, there's no illegal stuff. I would like to see some solid proof that there was, though. And if there is, I want the man to be in jail, obviously. And then Mercenary for 2. I hate Dark Souls. I want Tenchu. I want Stealth.
Yeah, well, guess what, man? I want a proper sequel to the original Prey, and I'm not gonna fucking get it.
No.
Nor am I gonna get a proper sequel to Marathon. So we all suffer.
Exactly.
Anyway, surprisingly, the PC specs are very tame for Night Rain.
Yeah.
The recommended specs for Night Rain is 16 gigs of RAM, an Intel Core i5 11500 or AMD Ryzen 5 5600. A GeForce GTX 1070 or Radeon RX Vega 56 8 gigabytes.
Wait, that's the smallest it can go?
That is the recommended specs.
Oh.
Not minimum, recommended.
That's tiny. That's
What's the minimum?
A fucking potato from 2001.
I think my light actually died. No, so graphics for minimum are like GTX 1060 3 gig or Radeon RX 580 4 gig and 12 gigabytes of RAM. This game can be run on a potato, apparently.
I guess so.
Jesus.
Here's what excites people. Storage, 30 gig.
Oh,
Not bad.
Yeah.
the world is healing, chat. We're actually going back to punishing people for not fucking making their games reasonably stored.
Potato
Because
game
over in
rise up.
Japan, they cut off your pinky if you don't.
Yeah. So, I don't know, chat. Those are some pretty good specs. I'm excited for Night Rain. Again, I'm gonna put it on my Discord to let people decide what I'm doing on Friday, be it Night Rain or Final Fantasy VI. I'm okay with whatever chat decides. I will be playing Night Rain either way, either on stream or privately. This oh god. Where I'm gonna. All right. It's time for the big topic.
Temp said that this is going to take like 2 to 3 hours to cover. Do I need to pause my music here? I'll pause my music here. All right, you lead us in here, Temp.
I will. Give me just a moment. In fact, chat, I'm going to swap over to playing a video game for this.
Oh, okay.
Because,
Here, I'll pop out the screen. Oh, I don't have to move. Lovely. So what are we talking about today, Temp?
So this is very specifically Gamers Nexus talking about Nvidia's manipulation of reviews.
Okay.
Oh?
Yeah. We move them down, and then I will turn on a game, and we'll give this a listen.
Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang should be getting on stage right about now, and he's going to be talking about something different from us. We will be talking about how we feel like Nvidia has been threatening the media with access, or at least us, how it builds relationships between the press and engineers and then later uses those to manipulate the media, and how its executives throw its own employees under the bus whenever the press exposes something like this. Jensen will be talking about
artificial intelligence
and burying the RTX 5060 launch. For the last 6 months, Nvidia has been pressuring us under threat of access to include MFG, or multi-frame generation 4X, on charts alongside devices that don't even support it. Even though we've said that it's not a like-for-like comparison and that it would be an unfair misrepresentation and outright lie
really
to even
quickly,
do as much. We've also...
I really feel like you should explain kind of like what we're doing here, and why it's kind of important that we're listening to this.
So the basis of what he goes into it is Nvidia has been doubling down on
AI
upscaling.
Okay.
Or more very specifically AI. And they want these people to... So people, I'm gonna use a few names as an example, like Gamers Nexus, Linus Tech Tips, Jay's 2 Cents, among others, to when they do benchmarking, to include very specifically how it handles with AI upscaling. When that really doesn't matter, because there is no point in the AI upscaling.
Uh-huh.
And there, basically, he goes into saying basically that if you refuse to do that, to talk about the AI upscaling, because NVIDIA's big thing with the 50 series GPUs is, oh, the 5070 is as good as a 4090, when that's a lie. That is a bull-faced lie. because it's as good as a 4090 if you use frame generation, if you use DLSS, sure. But if you don't, it's bad. Honestly, the 5070 cards are both bad, and the 5060
Avoid
is just
at
as
all
bad.
cost.
I have
Hell.
to ask, are the, and I feel like we've probably talked about this before, but for the consistency of the stream, so the 50 cards, the only difference to the 40 cards and the 50 cards is really just the AI upscaling that they are bringing forward.
Correct.
Okay,
In essence,
so
yeah.
if you basically, it's like if you remove the sticker from something that says it's a brand new product and you realize it's a last gen product, is really the only, like, did they really just slap a we have AI generation on this and it's better now?
Yes.
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 So, and this is funny because me being an old man, knowing Akka don't know shit. So I've got a comparison I'll make that might bring this into focus of why this is funny from my perspective. So back in World War II, the Russians couldn't get their hands on certain engines and couldn't make them.
Mhm.
So they basically would fuse two like 6-cylinder engines together and call it a W12. Now, the reason I bring that up is because AMD did the same thing with some fucking GPUs and other things. So it's like, your Threadripper 8-core was two 4-cores soldered together.
Uh-huh.
And they got clowned on them, on the world for so long and even got sued. And now we are seeing Nvidia basically just take last gen's model, spray paint it, and then say AI gen. Super awesome.
I imagine that like there has to be like extra bits and things that they've added onto it.
But there are extra stuff on top of it. But comparatively, it's not anywhere near as good enough to justify buying like a 5090 over a 4090.
Uh-huh.
Or a 4080 or 5080 over a 4080. Or 4080 Super, I guess, specifically.
It really does make me wonder if literally that's the only addition that they've added. Are we approaching the limits of graphics generation then?
No,
No.
we're not.
Okay.
Not even close.
So then why is
It's
that
just-
all they've added then?
Because AI upscaling is going to do better for businesses. They can't remove Nvidia from the consumer base, but very primarily they want it for businesses.
So I'll give you the explanation from my view, Akko.
Okay.
So the thing is, Nvidia is going into AI. That's their new thing. So that's military, business, all sorts of things. So they're kind of stepping away from the gaming scene because they're finding more profit, more contracting within the market that isn't at all caring about video games. Now, this being said, if they just said, we're no longer making GPUs for consumers, that would immediately cause the stock to nuke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as it is, this is them essentially trying to cut the cord as slow and gradual as possible so that way they don't take a hit and can immediately go into the sweet, sweet arms of military industrial complex.
Is it really just that they need to release something new because it's been enough time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the 40 series,
Think of it like this. Sorry, Temp. Think of it like this. You're locked in a fight for years with AMD. If you just suddenly throw in the towel, you're going to be a bitch and you're going to look weak on the global scale.
Uh-huh.
That's why, from my view. Go on, Temp.
the 40 series was 2022 at the earliest. No, at the latest.
Okay.
If not 2021. Because I had you buy the 4070 Super.
Because the Super was
In
basically
20
like the boosted version of the 40 series.
Yes. Correct. And now, like, we're already talking like the TI variants of like the 5060. Which is surprising we're hearing about it now, considering it usually isn't.
It's
right
usually
about
like
now
a year
when
or
we're
two
here.
away, right?
The TI variant specifically for the 4060, I believe, yes.
Okay.
We're not here with the supers for a bit, though. At least we shouldn't be.
No.
But this is on top of the fact that the 5080 and 5090 connectors are melting and destroying computers, which the 4080 and 4090 were also doing.
I'm sorry.
On top of the fact that AMD came out with the 9070 and 9070 XT, which are destroying benchmark tests. It really depends on the game, but the 9070 XT very specifically is near comparatively similar to the 4080 Super. It kind of bounces between like the 5070 Ti and the 4080 Super. And I bought one for $850. So when they came out for MSRP, they were $650. And AMD really doesn't have it going well for them as far as frame gen and ray tracing, and the abilities that this card had with both of those was very good.
Not to bury the lead, but I did want to ask, which one were you telling me to get again? Because I'm actually genuinely interested. Right now, I'm just looking for a bigger case for my computer.
Did I tell you to buy a case?
No, you told me to buy a GPU. I'm saying which GPU.
Oh, 9070 XT. If you're going AMD X7 9070 XT.
Fuck yeah. Oh, also, and I'll just throw this as a little side tangent. Do you guys think we'll actually get another competitor in the GPU market if Nvidia fully walks away?
We kind of have Microsoft in here.
We have Intel as well.
Yeah,
Intel's
Intel
actually going into the GPU market?
They've been in the GPU market.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if it's good enough, which is why you really only hear about the other two, but like, yes.
I'm actually kind of surprised, and I'm surprised I haven't. Like, I knew they made motherboards. I didn't know they made...
I don't think Intel makes motherboards. I know
they just make CPU.
No, they make SSDs as well.
Yeah,
but Intel's cards are very budget. They're not bad, but they're budget.
Interesting.
I think they're like more for businesses.
Right now, yes.
I guess I'm going to have to look into it, because I'll tell you this, chat. Me and my money mindset of greed, whoever is going to step into the ring to fight with AMD, I'm definitely putting money on them. Not because I think they'll beat them, but more so, ooh, stocks are going to pop.
Yeah. So with AMD entering the market and Intel entering the market and AMD making rather competitive cards with Nvidia on top of what Nvidia is doing right now, it's interesting. Here, if you're both okay, we'll restart the video. We'll resume the video.
Yeah, go ahead.
Also heard from much smaller media how Nvidia has slithered into their DMs to offer samples under specific guidelines. At this point, we think it's time to share some of this to protect those smaller outlets, but also make sure consumers are aware of what Nvidia is doing behind the scenes in what we thought was a transparent and open communication with engineering, and what has become something we think is more sinister. And I guess this might destroy the possibility of working with Nvidia at any point in the near future, because it is a kind of scorched earth approach, but that's the GN Chef special. Scorched earth.
That is what he's known for.
AMD's been on the list, Nvidia's been on the list, and off the list, and on the list, and off the list, and on the list. And they're on the list again now. Nvidia's restriction of the newest RTX 5060 review units and drivers is interesting, where they're not distributing drivers until launch day, but it's not special. Today is about, in our opinions, Nvidia's malignant poisoning of the media by creating a facade of open access to its people and then using those people like poker chips.
I do want to remind, because he's not in his studio for this video. When he recorded this, he was at, I believe, his hotel room at Computex in Taiwan.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So he actively recorded this in Taiwan.
And how long ago was this?
This week.
Okay.
So Computex is very fresh. In fact, people are still in Taiwan for Computex.
Right. So when did he put this out? Like a few days ago?
This was a week ago.
Okay.
Actually, a week ago, literally today.
Fair enough. Continue.
to subversively try to advance a certain narrative, even though it already controls 90% of the market. And less than ever, Nvidia has needed to engage in subterfuge and manipulation, and yet more than ever, we feel that they're trying it, and that they decided to try changing editorial direction with us, of all of the outlets, made us talk to other media outlets to learn about their experience of it. And we'll have some of that later in the week as well. Now, in order to continue to be allowed to talk to thermal engineer Malcolm and technical latency expert Guillermo, both of whom are audience favorites and people we greatly enjoy working with, we've been informed that we need to talk more about multi-frame generation, especially MFG4X, and include MFG4X on charts, even with cards that can't feature it. And Nvidia wants to reinforce.
What do you mean by MPV? That's multi-frame gen. So that is a fun new addition to the 50 series card specifically, is multi-frame generation, which supposedly will add even more fake frames to your games.
I just don't understand.
Yay.
Like, I don't really understand it.
This?
I don't understand the obsession with it. It really doesn't like feel like, because like, yes, more frames, smoother gameplay is like a cool thing, but I don't feel like that's gonna sell me a video game. Like, what's going to sell me a video game is it looks nice.
I have to interject. It's not to sell you the video game. Okay. So in the general market right now, AI is big, even though a lot of us are getting real fucking sick of it. But it's currently just like deep learning and insert whatever buzzwords, the tech companies would push in the past for increasing their stock value. This is just another one in a long fucking line of buzzwords, and they're trying to shove it in literally everything in order to demonstrate it and to how do I put it? Damn it, I hate it when I struggle with these. Imagine like you're in a civilization, no one wears hats, no one feels the need to wear hats.
Okay.
But suddenly in all your marketing, everyone's wearing hats. So you're trying to create the demand for it. You see what I'm saying?
I definitely think Medicare would do that pretty well.
Yes. So the whole idea is to keep people's minds in, oh, look at this. Look at what AI can do. Look at all the amazing things. AI. Constantly filling the buzzwords with AI is how you then start to generate more interest in it. Create more interest, create more demand equals higher shares. That's the whole reason, even though it makes no sense, especially in the context of gaming.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
You're welcome.
No, I appreciate that. I just thought that was, again, it just doesn't make any sense to me other than just trying to make more money, and it's pretty anti-consumer. I feel like that's pretty simple to say.
100% is.
Pretty simple to say, but it's anti-consumer is what it is.
Yup.
Okay,
Impact marketing, thank you.
Think Jensen's lie, where it's committed to making sure that 5070 equals 4090 is true. Maybe there's a concern of a future class action or something, and they want to create a paper trail to try and say that actually it is true. With increasing boldness, Nvidia has stated to us that they might not be able to keep letting us interview Guillermo and Malcolm if we don't produce reviews the way Nvidia executives want them to be produced. Now, us doing exactly what Nvidia asks, even though it's in direct opposition to what we believe is right for the consumer, would be a breach of trust. And it would be lying. Sort of like what Jensen did when he said this.
4090 performance at 549.
We brought you this video with store.gamersnexus.net and paper of paper, our internet or come more affordable object and surface like the head of GAF for the next quote and expects that it's supposed to get something in return for them other than just the product review itself. And AMD actually used to be like that too, back before it fired all of the worst executives that were enforcing that approach. So because Nvidia believes that this is purely transactional, we'll first prove a point. We've produced a ton of content about FSR, DLSS, and MFG. In fact, we've produced 71 minutes of content explicitly covering MFG and DLSS4 with in-depth testing, frame-by-frame comparison of frame generation, and technical analysis. Some of it was positive. Our 5090 review was 40 minutes long. The teardown was 29 minutes long, meaning that our MFG and DLSS in-depth testing actually is longer than our 5090 review content. If we had included MFG and DLSS coverage in the 5090 review, it would have been under 4 minutes and something else would have been cut. But it's never enough for Nvidia. Nvidia wants MFG 4X in the charts of the reviews themselves and in the reviews. Here's the bigger problem. Nvidia has created a situation where you can't trust the independence of any MFG or DLSS coverage because of the way it's pushing these constant
pause real quickly.
threats of access to hardware, or in our case, the...
There's a lot of words that he's saying here that I am not familiar with. Can you explain them for the layman in the chat that's not just me?
Start with DLSS. I think that's a good...
Well, DLSS is basically just frame generation.
Well, I know what that is, but like he's saying some other things in here that I don't really feel like I'm familiar with.
MFG is multi-frame generation.
So 2 words for the same thing.
Yeah, they're literally the same thing. It's just now they're trying to make a new word for it to give even more justification for what they're doing.
Okay.
Any other words you want us to try going over for you?
No, that's good.
Okay.
Right.
Mostly for the audience, not me.
Imagine a 1 FPS game that looks like a 60 FPS. It changes nothing, and the game will keep being a slow 1 FPS game. Remember the NFT electric toothbrush? Same thing. No, yeah.
There was an NFT electric toothbrush? What?
I think so, yeah.
The
That's
fuck?
cool.
I remember back in the day when you had bone conducting toothbrushes that played music.
I do too.
I miss those.
But do your teeth miss those?
No.
Probably not. It probably was horrible for my teeth, but
Yeah.
fuck it.
not even implicit, but the straight up explicit statements that interviews with people like Malcolm or Guillermo are possible if we include things like MFG in the reviews. So they have undermined the integrity of any of that coverage. I personally cannot look at anyone's review where they talk about MFG or DLSS without wondering if they got the same talk we did. And that's a problem, especially now that you all know about it. So Nvidia told us that adding MFG and DLSS
they're really putting a lot of reviewers on the...
to, quote,
they're really putting a lot of other reviewers on the seat here.
Exactly. Because now what he's saying specifically is like, if you don't include these buzzwords in your charts, we're not going to let you review our units.
Yep, and just gonna talk to chat here real quick. Yeah, they probably are slightly different. Bug saying, DLSS was algorithmic where MFG is AI enabled. But at the end of the fucking day, it's still the same thing. Like, be realistic. It's like, I can still get my fucking coffee, whether it's from Starbucks or something else. And someone else said, that's the trick, Akko. If you speak in jargon, fools will believe anything you say while not actually knowing what you're saying. And that is precisely the point. It doesn't matter, you can be very minutiae with the details. There's arguably a little difference here. It doesn't fucking matter on the grand scheme.
No.
No, yeah. It really doesn't.
If you want bullshit merchants, go check out any conversation Apple does.
Thank you for the Two Mercenary. I remember those commercials for the music toothbrush.
Yeah.
Music toothbrush was kind of cool, though. I never got one, though.
It was, and then I think they got bought up, and their cool tech, I think, got used for military purposes to put holes in children or something.
I'm going to go grab some more water so you guys can continue.
Okay.
Proceed with the rant.
Guillermo, technical interviews on thermals and latency, even though they do not pay us. In fact, I paid tens of thousands of dollars now to fly out to their venues and their offices to cover those things. It was our cost. Our budget was the only budget in this entire conversation. And they're talking about securing budget as if this is somehow a paid exchange. Now, I don't know if that was a Freudian slip where maybe they pay other people for coverage like that. But whatever the case may be, that was how it was delivered to us, where in order to continue doing these types of interviews and for them to, quote, secure budget, we had to cover things a certain way in the reviews that were totally unrelated to the people we were even interviewing. It made no sense. But they know we don't take money for them, so I have to wonder if they view these interviews through a lens of thinking we view it as a monetary gain, such as through the other ads that are run on them, as some sort of big transaction, the way Nvidia looks at everything. And if that's the case, then it's just plain dirty. But either way, even ignoring this misrepresentation of so-called budget, we already have over an hour of content on MFG and DLSS, and it's still not enough for them. Possibly because it wasn't purely positive, but we won't capitulate, because if you give Nvidia an inch, they'll take a mile, and their drivers don't even fucking work anyway. This whole thing,
No, they don't.
though, Malcolm is a thermal engineer. He has nothing to do with MFG, and to be clear, we are almost certain that he has no idea he's being treated as a poker chip by Nvidia's upper command. We like Nvidia's acoustic, thermal, and latency engine.
Okay.
First off, Mercenary for $5. Nvidia is why I only buy AMD now. All Nvidia always broke on me. I've never had an Nvidia card last more than 6 months outside of a laptop. Fuck.
I've had Nvidia last pretty well for me.
Yeah, no,
in fact,
back in the go you first, and then I'll
even
say.
my 1470, what I just replaced, worked pretty well for what I was doing with it. It is only recently, the last time I used anything AMD, period, like be it GPU or CPU, was a CPU in my old Gateway computer, and I used the integrated graphics on it.
Yeah, for me, back in the day when I was, young, and still playing. I was playing Fallout Tactics on a 1060.
Yeah.
And an 860 as well, I believe. But, back then that shit lasted a long time because, you could even push it and overclock them to still have that fuckers keep chugging along well past, what it was made for. And yet nowadays, I'm fully on AMD just for the sheer fact that it's like, Jesus Christ, you guys really are fucking everything up. I remember the reason I stopped using AMD back when I was a kid was, 1, power hog, and 2, as I said, the two GPU things slapped together. And
SLI back then was really nice.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the AMD that little trick they did caused all sorts of problems where my computer.
Nvidia also did that.
I have returned. How are things going?
Fine.
Good.
What did I miss?
Read out something.
I was using the restroom and I had to get water.
Basically, Nexus saying that your drivers are dog shit.
No, admittedly, and I actually swapped my 4070, which I just mentioned, to a 9070 XT. And I've been having a few problems with it. Like, I was playing specifically Doom the Dark Ages today, actually. And I was noticing some horizontal lines on it. And I was like, well, why is that happening? I actually felt the side of my computer, especially near the display ports. Now, I don't mean display port as the cable. I mean just display ports, like where HDMI and display port and whatever goes. And that specifically was very hot. And I'm wondering if maybe that is what was causing it. It was just getting so hot because my GPU was getting up to like almost 80 degrees Celsius.
Jesus!
I remember
That's
that
horrifying.
time. I remember that time.
Also, why?
So I'm wondering if it's just like overheating is causing those like horizontal lines to appear.
I would probably assume so. And Jesus Christ, get more air on that bitch. What the fuck?
I do.
Doing?
I have a lot of air on it.
More air.
I have an AIO in my like a 360 millimeter in there.
You need to get a fan blade from a downed Boeing and put that in. Don't worry, they're literally falling out the sky.
Admittedly,
temp.
I think it's because Doom was running at 130 FPS.
Oh God, yeah, bro, drop that to at least cap it to 80.
You know, I think we're just gonna continue with the
Also,
painter class.
Akko, why the fuck does your goddamn character look like a PS2 character? What the fuck?
It's a Lalafell. Thank you very much. All of us made potatoes when we decided to do. Well, excuse me. Lumi made a potato. Mizu made a potato, and they're like, join the potato gang. And I was like, you know what? Fine. We'll play.
And then
potato.
Lumi left the potato gang.
And then Lumi left the potato gang. Yes. Although she told me she's
like
going
your
back.
Sexy furry.
She's going
I
back.
don't play a potato. I play a Makote. I play a cat girl.
Listen, I started out as a cat, and I went to a bunny because bunnies are sexy. But then they're like, "Oh, play a potato with us," and I was like, "Okay, I'll play a potato with you guys." So that's why.
Fair enough. Also, it does, chat. It looks like a PS2 character. Fight me on this. And before you say PS2 had worse graphics, listen, you shits. Go check out Jack 2.
Listen, this game has been updated with graphics. It doesn't matter. Let's
It
continue.
actually has.
Yeah.
The graphics here are better, actually. They're smoother.
No, I can understand. It just reminds me of PS2 character.
Engineers and have friendly rapport with them. We find them to be honest and intelligent without being marketers. The information is genuine and comes from a genuine place. I would absolutely love to continue working with Malcolm and Guillermo, but that's what makes this so gross from Nvidia. Nvidia is now undermining even that trust with its engineers by poisoning the well. It seeps into the ground and it can't be removed. We can't trust Nvidia's motives for anything now, and at this point you shouldn't either. And frankly, it's disturbing how many times Nvidia brings up Malcolm's name specifically when we talk about MFG in charts, because Kenny's.
Don't you wear glasses? I don't wear glasses, chat.
No, that's Hikari.
No, I don't. My vision's actually perfect.
Punt the potato.
Good for you.
Listen, the potato is small. We like small potato because you can punt it. Potatoes are for bullying.
Yeah.
Although they
that's
bully.
why I bully Akko.
Also, Rage, you know the joke behind potatoes, right? In 14,
they're all Irish.
No, all of the Lalafels in 14 are like the secret Jew race.
What the fuck?
Yeah, because they all they listen, no, seriously, it's because they all secretly control everything. There's actually like a subplot where a bunch of Lalafels are trying to take over the government.
Yeah, there was.
And like
God damn it, Japan.
Listen, they're obsessed with money, they are obsessed with power, they are tiny, and they are very quick to anger.
Vertical or horizontal? My lines were horizontal. They were like multicolored or horizontal lines.
First off, are you calling me short, Akko?
I didn't say you were short. I know you're tall. I'm just saying that in 14 they made the Lalafels a very clear, specific type of person.
Oh, fucking jeez. At this point, I might have to pull out another old game to make you play.
Anyway.
Just as a punishment.
Anyway, Temp says we have like 2 of these videos to go through, so let's continue.
Hey, hang on before you do. I was just going to simply say, I think I'm going to have to call it, but it was a pleasure to join you.
Oh,
I
for
always
sure.
enjoy dunking on Marathon and Randy. And everyone, make sure you listen to Papa Temp. Papa Temp knows what he's talking about.
Papa Temp.
And remember, don't get an Nvidia. You will regret it.
Well, that's what I have. I have
You would
a
regret
40.
it.
I have
I
a
just-
4,000 super, so I'm probably going to stick with that for 5 years.
Like,
Yep.
it's not like avoid Nvidia, but be mindful about what you're buying.
Always make sure you check. And remember, if you can get a 5-finger discount, always go for it.
Oh, Bible.
Bible. All right, we
right.
continue. We're continuing the video while I continue the story.
Yeah.
He's a thermal engineer. He makes fans and metal make things cold. That is what Malcolm does. He does not make fake frames and then put them onto charts and then lie and claim that a 5070 is a 4090. So I assume that the reason they keep bringing him up specifically in this non sequitur is because they know we like working with him. And that, again, just makes it even dirtier because Nvidia sees this opportunity of he doesn't seem to give a fuck if we take away the cards. What if we take away access to the people the audience likes and the people that Steve likes working with? Nvidia has accurately identified that if our GPU sampling is cut, we'll just get the hardware a different way, and they won't be a part of the conversation. That's their decision to make. If they don't want the opportunity to say anything at any point in a review, they don't have to have that opportunity. We can go get it, we'll do the testing ourselves, and we'll proceed as normal. So instead of trying to use something of less value as leverage, Nvidia has pinpointed that we get along well with engineers, our audience likes them, and the content is great and unique. But why stop at good content for the brand when you can weaponize it to extort a certain directive? There's a lot of big words in that sentence, so that means that's the right way to do it. But frankly, if Nvidia is viewing this as quid pro quo, then Nvidia should be abso-fucking-lutely flattered that we've spent as much time as we have covering things like their thermal solution and doing so positively, because I think it's actually brilliant. That is how much we liked it. I will, in this video, still give them credit for the things that they've done well. But it was genuinely fun to work on. We had multiple videos calling it good. We included Larian imaging, which nobody else did, and we included specialized acoustic testing, which I'm also fairly certain nobody else did in that level of detail.
So wait,
but again,
did they build an acoustic room?
It is not.
They built an acoustic room to test this? Why an acoustic? Why do I need to know the sounds that this thing is gonna make?
Because, well, like, for an example, like how much the fans rev up, how loud it is.
Okay.
Or like how much the fans are pushing. Like the harder the fans are pushing, the louder it gets. So they're using the acoustic room to figure out like how like because some people do want quieter machines. So if like that is one thing that you want to focus on when you're going to buy a product, there you have that knowledge.
All right. I feel like acoustic stuff like that really doesn't matter to a good chunk of people, but you know, fair enough.
No, it doesn't. But there are some people that it does.
Continue.
Good enough to do these things, you also have to talk about the rest of the narrative that they want to talk about. And to be in media doing testing on hardware with such limited time before a review goes live, the whole point is that everybody does something that the other people aren't doing. That's the cool part about it. But Nvidia doesn't get that. Nvidia seems to want a concerted push on their narrative, and it always wants more. It is never enough for Nvidia. By threatening access to interviews and hardware, Nvidia has created a scenario where all of the intentions have to be questioned, and that can even include ours if people don't know about this, which is why we have to expose it now to make sure everybody's aware of exactly what's going on behind the scenes, because Nvidia has dirtied what was otherwise a clean and fun, seemingly transparent look at their hardware. But that transparency apparently was not the only intent. It was coming with a price. And we, to maintain the transparency, will be sharing all of that with you, because we're not going to let Nvidia use this shit as a cudgel to dictate how we cover things. It's fucked up. I went off script. Nvidia's undermining all the DLSS and MFG content by doing this, and I'm certain that for many of our peers, just like for us, they looked at the technologies. That's the Nvidia bike going by. They're trying to make sure you can't hear me. Many of our peers probably looked at the technologies because they were genuinely interested in it, but you still have to look at it and wonder what was going on behind the scenes, and was it the same as it was for us? And again, this is a problem for Nvidia, and I'm not sure they even thought about it that way, which is a big issue. So, for example, I spoke with Hardware Unboxed. I know Hardware Unboxed genuinely wanted to cover the MFG and DLSS technology, and their intentions were good. Hardware Unboxed, though, is interesting and will come up later because they got a talk similar to the one we just got years and years ago for similar editorial direction standpoint on reviews. But the problem that emerges is now every reviewer is looking at this video going, oh fuck, I have to now justify that I actually talked about this stuff because I wanted to, not because Nvidia told me to. So it creates this cascade of issues, all from Nvidia. Nvidia is well known in the industry for being vindictive, not just towards media, but its own partners. EVGA left loudly because of it, and we had exclusives in our...
Hello?
Tim. Okay, you're awake. Good.
Yeah.
Oops. Bo came in here, tell you to wake up and left.
Sleepy? I'm not
Understood.
sleepy. Oh, no, no, no. I'm not sleepy. I'm just fine.
Aka's just bored of 14.
No, I'm not bored of 14. I'm letting it play through since I'm not skipping cutscenes.
Fair.
Our coverage of that. But over the years, every board partner we've spoken to has been terrified at one point or another of Nvidia's visceral reactions to innocuous things. When I fought Nvidia over this editorial direction push that they've been pursuing in our calls, which I've recorded and I am prepared to release if I have to, because Nvidia was also...
More hats.
Oh, there was
Tim,
just a super.
I might need your help looking at a bit of hardware. I need confirmation on the motherboard and CPU.
Tab, I need your help looking for a bit of hardware. I need confirmation on the motherboard and CPU. I was given as a tip for DoorDash.
That is an interesting tip. That's a very interesting tip.
Yeah, Mercenary, just DM me on Discord.
Jeez.
I can help you out.
That's great. $800. Wow, that's insane. Yeah, DM temp. DM temp. I'm sure that, like, you know, he won't charge you too much for just simple consultancy. Go ahead if you like.
recording those calls, and both parties were aware that Nvidia was recording those calls
Supers are
because
quiet?
they were
All right, I
calls
turned
from
them
the
up.
press. Just to be clear,
Chat said supers are quiet, so I turned them up.
Oh, okay.
Nvidia, I am prepared to release them if I need to reinforce my statements today. But in those calls, I repeatedly pointed out that this whole thing of pursuing a certain editorial pushed narrative, that creates a transparency problem. And a different Nvidia representative stated, my transparency is that I give you a card to test and review. That's my form of transparency. Which is like, okay, but you didn't, though, because you didn't send a 5060. And for the people who did get it, the drivers aren't public anyway. So first of all, fuck off for even saying that. And secondly, it's not even true. The fuck off part's not in the script. But our contacts
I
are
love
good
that he
people,
included that.
and so we've wondered where all this...
I do too.
He'll probably get in trouble for that later, though.
That's fine.
is coming from? The answer is from the top. We asked other people, not our contacts, and particularly former insiders, and found that executive level decisions from 3 people are landing on PR around the world to force through media. Nvidia's misleading demands of MFG4X inclusion in reviews would help it to avoid the problem that it has now, which is that its products aren't improving as much as the price is increasing. But even if someone wanted to add that data to reviews, Nvidia often only gives reviewers 3 to 5 full days to review a card, sometimes a week if we're lucky. And then there's the fact that its own drivers are currently so fucked up beyond all recognition, or the FUBAR drivers as I call them, that even enabling MFG or DLSS in some games with some settings causes them to crash or the system to shut down.
So it's not even doing anything.
Impossible to do all the tests that we do.
If it's actually causing problems with your computer, that's a problem, Nvidia.
It's not. Oh, well, so thank you, question mark, for following. What is that name? Oh, special. Thank you for the sub, though. Welcome.
Thank you, user, for the follow.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. So
in that time,
really
and yet
quickly,
now more,
just to recap, this is crashing systems, and it's not even doing what they're advertising. And
Correct.
They are at, and so he is revealing this. Is this stuff that they have asked him not to talk about, basically?
Yes. It is stuff they've asked him not to talk about, and they are requiring before they send review units that he agrees to talk about multi-frame generation and all the benefits of all of Jensen's lies.
So what he's doing right now, I mean, like, I kind of figured this, but what he's doing right now is he is basically saying, fuck you, I'll talk about it anyway.
Exactly. Do you remember when we did the other, we reacted to a Jay's 2 cents video about the 50...
It was how long ago was this? Because I don't recall that one.
It was like a couple months ago.
Okay, yeah, I definitely don't remember it then. My apologies.
Where he basically broke NDA because they were lying about MSRP.
Uh-huh.
Very similar to what he's doing here.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, like, it's definitely going to harm him, like, in the future, because there are going to be brands that be like, I can't trust you. But, like,
Yep.
I think that overall, it's really nice of him to do this.
It's good to bring this out to people.
Yeah. Pippa rant rings true a year later. It does.
Yep.
It does. It does. It does.
Okay.
Then it doesn't even work sometimes anyway, which would mean we take other things out, which Nvidia would also be mad about. But that doesn't matter because we don't produce reviews for Nvidia to be happy about them. We produce reviews for people to buy products or not buy products or buy competing products. That's what we do as our service. And so from Nvidia's viewpoint, we basically need to change our editorial direction, and pressuring us isn't going to work. But it's also not the first time Nvidia's done this for people. The last time they chose other Steve from Hardware Unboxed, and back then it was only the access to hardware they threatened, which Steves don't care about because Steves can get the hardware from other Steves in the industry. Frankly, I think they're discriminating against Steves because we're at a 2-for-2 hit rate on Steves who have been threatened by Nvidia. But we've also learned something interesting. The last time this happened, back when Hardware Unboxed was told to adjust their editorial direction to include more focus on technology that wasn't ready for prime time, we learned that, allegedly, the directive came from the top, one of 3 people, and was forced down through media contacts. We also learned from numerous former Nvidia employees that the executives have a culture of throwing people under the Jensen bus, which adds a new layer of deceit to the whole approach. Because now, instead of access to a simple physical hardware product, and instead of also adding this sort of Damocles over the reviewer of access to interviewing and engineering discussions, it also has the third run, which is that anyone in the media with a conscience is going to wonder how exposing something like we're doing today is going to affect the messengers who are given the message to send to us when it goes back up the chain and they have a "who did this to me" conversation. So I know these demands aren't necessarily coming directly from the representatives who work for Nvidia and talk to us. We think it's coming from above them. And to try and prove this theory, I went and I spoke to a ton of other media you all likely know from all around the world. And I learned that in all of these regions, there is a consistent theme of this background pressure of covering certain things in a certain way in reviews. And that is a global thing for Nvidia, which we think means it really narrows it down to the top of the top, because this is not some like rogue American PR thing. This seems to be a company culture thing. And when this is seen at the top, I want to make sure that the executives don't have the ability to just blame the people below them. That's why I emailed one of them. Matt Webley, the head of GeForce Marketing, immediately tried to put his employee in front of him as a shield when I sent an email saying we need to speak on record. We told our contact to please stay out of it and push Webley for answers on a recorded call.
No. No? Oh, is it like, is it too blurry to read?
No. So this email, the one that's on the screen right now?
Yeah. Would you be able to read it?
Sure. Yeah, I can read it just fine. It says, "Hi, Ben. I prefer to leave you and Jacob out of it as it doesn't pertain to either of you. I've heard enough from other sources to not want to involve you guys and cause you problems internally. I greatly like working with you and Jacob and respect the way you guys handle things. My understanding from others is that the topics for discussion come from Matt, and it is my intention to not get any of our usual contacts into internal crosshairs for decisions that come down the pipe. Matt, we can either speak directly or I'll just run this. I want to clear it that Ben and Jacob are not involved, though, and so we'll only be speaking on this issue directly with you so as to ensure no shared blame. If we have to go through normal channels, we'll pass, as it's not the right people."
If I was the guy below this Matt guy, I would run away because this is not... Oh, man, I don't like that.
Yeah. The fact that Nvidia is trying to pass, like, to use meat shields, essentially, is disgusting.
No, it is. Yes, I agree. I agree. Continue.
Because he's an actual executive who has control over some of this stuff. And we wanted to speak to someone who has the full and accurate picture of what happened internally to go over how they're doing this again. It's just like when we spoke to Asus at Computex last year. The first thing they do is put someone in marketing in front of us. Nice guy, not the right guy. And we kept pushing until we could get the director of something to try and get answers. That would be what we were doing here. But Webley stopped responding for a week after I told PR to stay out of it. So we replied to acknowledge that his response was loud and clear and that we'd communicate his thoughts to his customers. We also anticipated vindictive sampling actions, so we've preempted that. Let's take a walk down memory lane. In 2018, HardOCP broke a story about the Nvidia GeForce Partner Program, which was described as follows, quote, "The crux of the issue with the Nvidia GPP comes down to a single requirement in order to be part of GPP. In order to have access to the GPP program, its partners must have its gaming brand aligned exclusively with GeForce." That was a quote. "I've read documents," said Bennett, "with this requirement spelled out on it. What would it mean to have your gaming brand aligned exclusively with GeForce? Honks for the GeForce Partner Program here in Taipei." Quote, the example that will likely resonate best with hard OCP readers is the Asus Republic of Gamers brand. I have no knowledge if Asus is a GPP partner. I'm simply using the ROG brand hypothetically. If Asus is an Nvidia GPP partner and it wants to continue to use Nvidia GPUs in its ROG branded video cards, computers, and laptops, it can no longer sell any other company's GPUs in ROG products. So if Asus wants to keep building Nvidia-based ROG video cards, it can no longer sell AMD-based ROG video cards and be a GPP partner. End quote on that one, as an example of what we think is vindictiveness. In 2020, Nvidia tried to restrict Hardware Unboxed's access to GPUs because they weren't front-loading and heavily emphasizing ray tracing testing, which Hardware Unboxed maintained was because the technology simply wasn't ready yet. That was their opinion. We'd agree with it as well, especially in that era. But Nvidia didn't care. And for the internet out there, look, we get it. We get that Nvidia makes more money with AI than it does for gaming, and that by simply selling a gaming GPU, it's giving away money. But if it wants to abandon gaming, it should just do it. It's okay, Nvidia. It really is. If you want to just leave gaming and make all the money from data center and enterprise, you can do that. Just don't fuck it up for the rest of us on your way out the door by trying to manipulate how the coverage is handled.
Yeah, exactly.
And it almost reminds me of the SGI situation, which is out of business now. And SGI only sold GPUs for the most part to enterprise, data center, and B2B. They didn't think that consumers could really afford GPUs or would have a use for them. Jensen Huang founded Nvidia with some others and pursued consumer graphics and built the company that it is today. If Jensen wants to repeat that history and go only B2B, that is totally fine. And it might not even repeat this time. It might be that B2B is big enough now that he can maintain a...
If they go that route, it definitely wouldn't be good for their shareholders.
No, it wouldn't be.
That's why they're not doing it. I think what they want to have the presence of like selling a GPU for the normal people, but by the same token, they also want to like have the joy of just making these exclusive GPUs for specific individuals. I think that's what they're interested in.
That's exactly what they're interested in. Because I mean, if you look at like how much their GPU costs, no normal person is going to spend $2,000 for a 5090.
No, yeah, for sure.
B2B only company and not do gaming. So it's not that our gamers still being sold too thin that's the problem for us. It's the manipulation that's the problem of it. It's the threat that's handing over people like us when it has these conversations. If Nvidia wants to cut off its nose to spite its face, they can do that by disallowing further well-received, highly reviewed, neutral to positive technical interviews with their engineers. But if Nvidia instead is going to threaten us on the fulcrum of a particular type of coverage, then we believe that starts to become a form of extortion. And we think that Nvidia made a calculated play here, where Nvidia realized if it takes away access to cards, it doesn't do a whole lot. Taking away access to money doesn't do anything because they don't give us money. But what if it takes away access to the things that generate money through separate channels, like just through YouTube AdSense? Maybe that'll work. That's how I felt receiving these messages. And just to be clear for our audience, again, referring to the coupon code 10% off on store.gamersnexus.net, I don't give a fuck what Nvidia does for any of that, because we're going to continue on just the same. I would love to bring you all engineering content and interviews and let them tell their story in a way that's educational and actually useful for people. If Nvidia doesn't want to be a part of that, that's fine. They can fuck off and do whatever they want.
I'm noticing a lot of cuts.
Ultimately, that's why we have support.
You can tell he's getting so upset.
He has to cut it multiple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not an issue. It's just something I notice.
I get it, though. It's funny.
It is. Thank you for the 2. I remember SGI, Matrox, Nvidia, AMD, and Intel. Yep. Are those just different, like, people that make cards?
Yes. So that was another company, like Asus, MSI, EVGA. Just another one of their manufacturers.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Let me continue.
From you all, so we can do stuff like this. So anyway, at some point, enough is enough. And that's true for consumers too. And to keep that thought in mind of enough is enough, I'll leave you with a message from the late Gordon Ma-Un, my friend and mentor, who once said this at this very location in Taipei.
The internet, you will disagree, you will piss and moan in the comments all day. You will cry about it, scream about it, go on Twitter and Reddit, and and then you go to buy your Nvidia card. And the internet, because I know you right now, is like, yeah, this is like, I only care about value, you know, F you, Nvidia. You know, what's up with the prices?
Hey, Gordon.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're in a restaurant.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, we're being recommended here.
Oh, that's funny. I mean, it is your channel, so
it is my channel. Yeah,
you're gonna be recommended my stuff.
But yeah, that was one of the videos. And now Gamers Nexus actually did make another post after the fact.
Okay.
Saying Nvidia's huge breach of trust that we covered. After Nvidia's huge breach of trust that we covered, we are officially opening an investigation and deep dive into more of Nvidia's shady business tactics. This will take a long time to put together and will be done to Gamers Nexus classic standards. We are not going to let go of this bone until we fully understand to the extent of which Nvidia may strong-arm businesses. Several system integrators, partners, and members of the media have approached us at Computex to inform us of underhanded dealings from Nvidia. If you have anything to share from the viewpoint of a business of any kind, system integrator, partner, retailer, distributor, supplier, factory, media, etc., want to hear from you. You can email tips@gamersnexus.net to share, put Nvidia dealings. By default, your information will be kept anonymous and will be scrubbed for identifiable sourcing. I spoke to several people at Computex today who expressed that they have felt threatened by Nvidia at various points, including non-media business partners. We want to put together the full picture of this. Thanks. So Nvidia has opened the can of worms, and Gamers Nexus has responded violently.
They have. Here's the question: like how big of a channel are they? Because like I understand
2 million subs.
2 million. I mean, like that's decently sized.
2 million is pretty big.
It is, but like, is it going to actually force things to happen?
Maybe. Maybe. Because it's weird because like some companies like Linus Tech Tips, and that's an anomaly because it's 16 million.
Linus ain't gonna. I tell you right now, Linus is just gonna keep his head in the sand.
No, he's not. Yeah, he's yeah.
Oh, because it's Linus.
I think he has mentioned it, but he didn't make a dedicated video on it. He talked about it on WAN Show, I believe.
Okay.
His podcast. But we had another video that from this separate point of view. And that would be Jay's 2 cents. Oh, this video was longer than I thought.
How long is it?
30 minutes.
Can you put it on 1.25 times speed, please?
I can.
Because, like, we got about another hour left before we need to start, like...
winding down.
Yes.
I wanted to start the week, but I guess it's kind of like the way we have to start the week. I'm sure you guys have seen the videos going around already. I know this might seem like bandwagoning and just jumping on like their conversation, but really their videos opened up my eyes to this being a bigger problem that I thought was just us, to be honest. So we're gonna talk about it today. I'm gonna give you some history about what the last like 12 years has been like working with almost at Intel. Nvidia, actually Intel's being so quiet lately. Intel seems like a nice change of pace actually right about now. This video is brought to you by the new GPU Apocalypse 2.0 shirt, which is kind of in the 5060. This has been one of the most non-transparent, manipulative, just downright dirty practice when it comes to reviewing the 5060. Now, we already did our video talking about the fact that reviewers who had access to a 5060 would not have even gotten a driver that works until day of launch, which is technically today. This is the same day upload that you guys are seeing this. I was actually working on something else that I want to do that's a lot more fun, that we had to sort of pause and
don't say that. Listen,
no pun intended.
Don't just say, "Oh, I wanted to go do something." Then go do something fucking else. All right, I don't need to hear that you don't want that to be the case.
I will admit though,
I don't.
This is something that is, very much in the need to cover range.
Yeah.
This is such a big deal that, not discussing it would actually be a detriment.
Yeah.
And I just point out that Gamers Nexus is a 2 million sub channel. Jay's 2 cents is 4.21 million.
Okay, so he's just slightly bigger.
He's slightly bigger. So another channel bringing attention to this to more people is,
right.
Good.
No, I agree. it is another audience.
And for context, though, what that more fun thing he was talking about was upgrading his own computer because his CPU exploded.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see.
Actually, every pun intended, regarding this whole situation. So just high-level discussion here. Even Gamers Nexus has experienced direct attempt at manipulation and almost extortion in a way of how they have to do their content if they want to be a part of Nvidia's media circuit, if you will. At this point, can we just change that term to media circus? Okay, moving on. Hardware Unboxed also expressed the same sort of concerns about the way that 5060 review is being handled. Now, on the surface, it looked to a lot of us like the performance is going to be garbage, the price to performance is just going to be terrible, the generational uplift is going to be pretty much non-existent, and it's not going to really cost $299, it's going to cost way more than that, and if you're not going to test it with multi-frame gen on and only test it against cards that we tell you you're allowed to test against, we being Nvidia, then you're not a part of this release cycle. Now, we didn't hear any of that because we weren't even approached about reviewing a 5060, and that's fine, because I think I made it very clear in the 5060 Ti video as well, moving on. Like, I don't even really want to review a 5060. We know it's going to be a hot mess. However, I have a duty to the audience, which is to provide as much independent information as I possibly can for you guys to make informed decisions when it comes to buying.
Oh, that's kind of funny.
Had they reached out to us, I would have been all ears to review a card, but I absolutely would have turned down any of those requirements to review the card because realistically, up until right now, there's never been quote-unquote requirements to review a card. This is what happens when a giant starts to feel like they're losing control. They try to rein in as tight as they possibly can the messaging and then only align themselves with people that are going to drink the same corporate Kool-Aid and share the same message. I want to split off there for a second and say any review that you see right now regarding the 5060, Steve makes a very good point with this too, that you have to question its validity. Now, I'm not questioning the reviewer. I think many of these reviewers, especially smaller reviewers that might just now be getting into the size where brands reach out to them, specifically like Nvidia or any of the partners, Nvidia partners, basically might feel like forced to have to play by their rules to be a part of the game. The problem is this shouldn't be a game. This should be a brand that is confident enough in their product to just send it out
and I think
let
that's
the
the big
product
problem
speak for itself. Now, I can understand the frustration.
The big problem is that they're not confident in it, so they're imposing very strict rules because they know that if you just do whatever, it's going to be a problem for them and it's going to expose. The question that I have to ask is what are they trying to hide that is being
exactly
like, because that's the thing, like as far as we know right now, we don't really know what the problem is beyond them just saying we don't want you to test with specific other, like the question starts to become, are they not confident that this is actually better than their previous thing? And if that's the case, oh, that's not good. Not good at all.
No, I completely agree.
Anyway, continue.
Frustration of a brand that has put a lot of money, energy, and effort into new technology, like, for instance, DLSS 4, which DLSS 4 by itself has actually been very widely praised and well received at how much performance increase there is at very, very minimal and very difficult to spot fidelity loss. It's a complete flip to the script from what we saw on the 20 series launch when DLSS first came out, where it looked like you were looking at it through cataracts. But anyway, I digress. What we're seeing now is if you don't mention our multi-frame gen, if you don't test against cards that don't even have multi-frame gen, so let me back up. Some of the claims, and I haven't personally experienced these claims because, like I said, we weren't even approached for 5060 review, and I'm fine with that, to be honest. But those that apparently, and this is alleged, I was not a part of this conversation, but multiple people are reporting the same thing, and I can see Nvidia doing this because they've tried to do similar things with us in the past, specifically regarding DLSS and ray tracing, is that if you don't agree to only test it against a 2060 and a 3060, notice the omission of 4060 because 4060 does have frame gen, just not multi-frame gen, and you cannot review it against any competitor, i.e. Intel and AMD, because guess what? The Intel Battlemage is now in the price point of 5060, although it's kind of non-existent on the shelf.
Wait, pause. So they don't want them to test it from the last gen? Are you serious? They don't want you to test it again? Are they...
Now you see why I wanted us to watch both videos.
Are you seriously saying that they don't feel confident that the last gen is worse than the current one?
Correct.
That's like legitimately what I'm hearing here. They're just blatantly saying don't test the previous one because the previous one, wink wink nudge nudge, isn't actually worse than this one.
Uh-huh.
Bro.
Now you see why I decided to go AMD.
Well, I can't really afford to go otherwise.
No, I'm not saying, but you know what I did. Nvidia is retarded. Nvidia is very retarded.
Oh.
It's actually, I take that back. Was it the B770 or B570 is on shelves. I actually saw that at Micro Center. B580 is not, but B570 is on the shelves and it's still very relevant versus this card. Probably something we should be testing when we go buy one. But anyway, moving on. This is stacking the deck. This is forcing a review to be conclusionary with the results you expect to be shown. This is not fair competition. This is not where you are so proud of your product and you believe in your product, you're like, you know what? Put it against whoever you want. Put it against whoever you want, however you want. We're confident that our product is going to shine. That is not what Nvidia is doing right now. Nvidia is acting like they're scared, to be honest. But this isn't the first time we've seen this. I want to give a little history of my experiences with Nvidia, which started off fairly positive. And then right around COVID time, 2020, for a lot of people too, it turned real sour real quick. So my first dealings with Nvidia, very high level, go all the way back to the 900 series launch. I remember specifically it was a 980. I remember sitting in their office and them doing a VR demo, because VR was actually a big push then. Remember, we didn't have DLSS yet. We didn't have tensor cores. We didn't have RT. We didn't have any of that. Like VR performance, everyone wanted VR. Can we get 90 frames per second per eye? That's what the push was. But when the Titan first came out, but when the Titan Maxwell came out, they flew from New York to Los Angeles to have a meeting with me, basically at the airport, like steakhouse, and then flew right back to New York because I was a smaller, much smaller channel at the time, and they flew out to have a meeting with me because I couldn't make it to their event, and then they went back. And I showed them my satirical videos of me ranting and raving and pretending to be Arnold Schwarzenegger and breaking things about how mad I was about the 780 Ti came out after I just gotten a 780, and then the Titan comes out at $1,000, which today is comical considering you'll spend $1,000 for a 70 tier card, not a Titan level card. So let that sink in. Anyway, Tom A. Peterson at the time was kind of like the senior global technical marketer guy, like he is an engineer, and then Brian Del Rizzo was the direct contact we typically had when it came to Nvidia, when it came to global marketing and hardware. And then Brian Burke was the guy that was specifically involved with like the games technology with with GeForce and reviewers and the game technologies. So it was a good meeting. Tom was like, I showed them my satirical videos. Tom loved it. Brian was concerned that upper management would get mad if I took on a satirical approach. You guys, if you remember that Titan video, it's the one where I was eating packing peanuts and then I got really mad at myself for actually liking the card because I legit did like the card. Everything was great. In fact, Tom's quote even back then when Brian was like, are we sure we should allow this? First of all, that should be the first concern, and it did pop into my head like, wait a minute, they're going to tell me what I can and cannot do in my own videos? So that was the first red flag, going all the way back to like 2014, okay? But I digress. Again, Tom, and this is why I love the man to death, and I really hope I get to work closely with him again over at Intel's the ARC series, the ARC stuff. He said, who are we to tell him how to make his content? That's the way it should be, and that's the way it should have been. I think that's the last time I ever heard that from Nvidia. Moving on, I've never been directly monetarily supported by Nvidia ever. Even when you guys saw
somebody followed me. Just saying thank you.
One of my GeForce Garage thing when we worked on Skunkworks together.
Oh no, you're good. You're good.
What were you saying?
No, nothing. No, you're good.
Okay. Is this essentially saying that my RTX 3090 is still better than whatever the next gen GPUs?
No,
well,
40
okay.
No. They tested the 30 series. They were saying that the 40 series might still be as good or better.
Okay, so when it comes to the 5080 and 5090 specifically, those are the top dogs. Those are the best cards in the market to raw performance. But they're also the most expensive cards in like, the over $1,000 price range. And they're melting connectors, which in turn is melting the card.
Which is destroying the computer. Yeah.
So technically the 5080 and 5090 are better, but at what price, essentially,
I remember when the 40 series did that.
The Post Malone project.
Yeah, 40 series is also very expensive. Hell, before I upgraded to the computer I have now, I bought a 3060 because I was going from a 1070 to 3060, and that was causing so many problems that I literally could not use it. So I had to buy the new computer on top of the other issues that computer had.
Any of the reviews or builds that featured NVIDIA product were never monetarily supported by NVIDIA. Every now and then we might have got a Founders Edition card or something from them, but I always worked directly with their board partners and such, and none of that stuff was even like paid for. Like they never received money, or MDF funds, or stands for Marketing Development Funds, which means NVIDIA would pay the brand money to work with us. But NVIDIA still controls the message when that happens. So we're very against MDFs as much as we possibly can be, because then we don't know who we're actually working for. Like, is the message being controlled by NVIDIA, or is it being controlled by the partner? So we are very much like MDFs are, for the most part, a no-go for us. It really depends. Like we've done AMD MDFs. I think we've done a handful of Intel MDFs over the years, but with very red-lined contracts that remove any messaging that has to be said, right? Like I mentioned, back in around 2020 is when Hardware Unboxed basically got the shun and the strong arm of, you're not reviewing product the way we feel you should be reviewing it, therefore you will not be receiving product from us anymore. Let me pause there for a second. Here's the other problem with the culture at NVIDIA. NVIDIA gets to control who their partners send cards to. Let me repeat that. NVIDIA gets to control who their partners can send cards.
Someone said they were going to bed, so I said goodnight.
Oh, okay. All I know is some PC Master Race BS, and I'm too console plugged to understand. My brain hurts. Admittedly, like we're almost in an age where I'd be like, if you're not doing like anything business-wise with a computer, it might not be too far off to get a console.
Really?
The other problem with that, though, is that like
just get a Steam Deck.
Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo are all awful.
No, just get a Steam Deck.
Yeah, if you're wanting budget PC gaming to be console-like, get a Steam Deck. Actually, well, hold on. You could actually get anything now and put SteamOS on it. And still get that console-like experience. And beef your hardware. If you're wanting price to performance, Steam Deck. But if you're willing to chunk out the money, I don't know, maybe the ROG Ally X or the new Lenovo Legion Go could be worth it.
To. When you're leading up into a review cycle and you have a new product coming, board partners have to supply a list to NVIDIA of who they're sending cards to. Why? Because if NVIDIA has a problem with it, they can say no. That is a huge problem when it comes to the way that reviews are performed as far as I'm concerned. Now let's be transparent here. AMD and Intel do that too. All, whether it's CPU or GPU, anyone that's involved in a review of a mother product, in this point, like a CPU, right, involves a motherboard brand. The motherboard brands have to also say, for review purposes, who they're sending boards to, so Intel knows who's going to also be reviewing their product. Now, I've never had AMD on either the Radeon side or the CPU side, or Intel on either ARC or CPU, desktop CPUs tell us, or tell brands, no, you can't work with them. We've had them have concerns over some of our accuracies and stuff in the past, which we've addressed and been very transparent of, and I think most of you have actually, I've gotten huge feedback saying we've really stepped up our game in terms of accuracy and the type of data we're presenting, and the brands all the way up to Intel and like AMD. NVIDIA not so much, but they've even commented like, hey, we love what you're doing, keep it up, we like to see the growth, we like to see that even after all these years, you can teach an old dog new tricks, and yes, that's a gray hair joke. But moving forward, NVIDIA is very, very shallow in the sense that if a brand wants to send product to a reviewer they don't like, they can say no. And the partner will abide by that, because NVIDIA will start to hold the brand accountable if the reviewer says something they don't like that they blacklisted. So they'll start to hold the AIB accountable. Now, what can they do? Well, they can start to withhold allocation. They can start to screw around with the, the availability and the pricing. And they've done this. In fact, they've done it to EVGA, which is one of the reasons why EVGA said, fuck you, we're done being your patsy in all of this. And EVGA was probably one of the biggest red flags on if it's that bad to work with them as one of your largest SIs, and one of the only SIs that only did NVIDIA. Almost every other SI, not SI.
So if a company that like sells, because NVIDIA isn't like the main seller, they sell to a bunch of little companies, and the little companies do their little shit to make them look glitzy and pretty and sell them afterwards. So he is saying that if one of those smaller companies wants to work with him, NVIDIA will say, you work with him, you get nothing.
Yes, that's exactly what he's saying.
I feel like that's tortious interference with business contracts.
Because it is.
That's just, that's illegal. I think. Pretty sure that's illegal, or some sort of civil tort.
The thing is, AMD does it as well. Intel does it as well. In this spot, it's not specifically like AMD.
Yeah. Every company does it.
Exactly.
It's just which one does it the least or is the least evil.
I keep saying SI. AIB, any board partner, almost every other board partner works with both brands. ROG, it has Radeon and GeForce. Gigabyte, Radeon and GeForce. So the MSI, Radeon and GeForce. The big players do both. That is why, and we'll go back to 2020 in a second, but around that time frame is also when Nvidia tried to start the GPP, or the GeForce Partner Program. That was not a reviewer thing, that was a board partner thing, where if you had to play by their rules to be a part of GPP, and those that were part of GPP got the better allocations, they got more allocation, they got earlier allocation. In fact, there were brands that came forward saying, hey, we're not a part of the GPP and our boards are delayed. We don't even have anything available at launch because of the fact that their allocations were withheld, specifically to try and affect their business to the point to where they had no choice but to join the GPP, which also said you could not be brand agnostic. You could not do Radeon graphics at the same time as GeForce if you're a member of the GPP. It really starts to sound like a political party at this point. It really is the GeForce political party is what the GPP is. So moving on, that program did eventually get squashed. A lot of reviewers like myself talked and got very vocal about the anti-consumer aspect of what the GPP really was. That program, fortunately, never really saw the light of day. It only happened for a little while, right around the 20 series launch. Going back to the 20 series launch, that's when Hardware Unboxed experienced their first real strong arm effect of saying, you're not reviewing things the way we want, therefore we are going to blacklist you. Now, the irony in all of that is they didn't try that with us, and we explicitly didn't test ray tracing or DLSS or any of that. We specifically stuck to raw horsepower rasterization tests because there weren't enough titles to really talk about. There was a handful of titles. Hardware Unboxed did full dedicated content to those technologies and still got fucked when it came to all of that. And it wasn't until most of the media stood up in solidarity with Hardware Unboxed to say, you do that to them, you're doing that to all of us. And it sets a precedent. And that's not okay. It's not okay to try and influence independent reviewers. There's a reason why it's called independent. So anyway, that was when we saw the turnover, if you will, of the global marketing team that was running things at that time. Now, I don't believe still to this day that the Brian Burke and the Brian Del Rizzo and the Tom A. Peterson were the ones making those decisions. I think as time went on, it became a bit more obvious that it was stemming from C-suite leadership all the way up to Jensen himself, at the way that it was expected that the reviewers were to behave. And unfortunately, you got put on that marketing team who was working directly with the reviewers to have to communicate those messages, and then they became the fall guys. So Brian ended up retiring and moving on. Tom A. Peterson went over to Intel, as you guys know. I have no idea what Brian Burke is doing. Brendan Bell, who is also one of the, he's got the famous quote of telling me, don't worry about 12-volt high power, it just works. Anyway, we all know how that turned out, and it's still turning out. It's quite the circus, if you will. But anyway, moving on, we have a whole new team there, and as many of you may know, Jacob Freeman, formerly of EVGA, who's been with EVGA for like 20 years, is now working at Nvidia. And I'm going to be honest, I feel when I talk with Jacob, and I feel like, gosh, I feel like there's regret. I really do. I think maybe, and this is just my perception. He hasn't said any of this, but I feel like there's this realization and this eye-opening of, fuck, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. I really believe that. Because I know Jacob on a personal level, and I know the communications that I'm having, and it's not Jacob. But moving on, even with the new management, I had, not management, but new team, I had very transparent conversations with them saying, look, the previous marketing guys completely destroyed the reviewer-consumer relationship, and how is this going to be addressed? And I was assured by even those above Jacob that, look, Nvidia has made mistakes. We know where we made those mistakes. This is how we're addressing these mistakes, and here's how we're going to keep them from happening again.
And it sounds like
this goes back to about 2021.
It sounds like that's not the case.
No, not at all. Not in the slightest.
2022. Now that's before even Jacob got on board. But if we go back to as recently as 2023, actually, is it 23 or 22? I think it was 22. Whatever. One of the last LTXs, I even had a meeting with Nvidia there because they were at LTX. The same thing. Hey, we hear your concerns. How can we be better? And they seem very open and interested. How things change in only a few years. Because again, I don't think the problem is coming specifically from the marketing team. I think it's coming from higher up. A lot of the evidence from that is just how the last showman, Mr. Jensen, has become on stage. The guy is just eating the energy of being on stage and the cheering and the whooping and all that sort of stuff. I mean, there's even been an evolution of the jacket. And it's like, when that becomes you, like, the jacket was such a joke, but now it's almost become kind of a sad meme, if you will. I know it was like the Steve Jobs and the turtleneck, right? But to have your black leather jacket now morph into a sparkly gator print, and you're up there holding a giant silicone shield, pretending like you're Captain America, dancing around on stage.
Oh my gosh. He's trying to be like a warrior.
Wait for it. I thought I was worthy.
I don't know if there is a stage big enough to hold the weight of the ego that has been formed over the years. And that's what happens when you become the most rich tech company on the planet. That's what happens. The thing is, when you grow to that level, you either stay grounded and real, or you turn into an egotistical maniac. And that's what we've got right now, is an egotistical maniac that literally all of this problem that we're seeing with the crumbs of products we're being like given now as consumers, almost like Nvidia's doing us a favor even staying in the consumer GPU market, considering AI is the house that GeForce built. And we've already talked about that quote a million times. That tells you everything you need to know. It's disgusting. Now I want to move on to what some of the most recent business dealings have been like with Nvidia. As I said, we've never taken money directly from Nvidia, and we've even avoided MDFs. But TwitchCon last year, I did that build at the PNY booth. That was a direct relationship with PNY and Nvidia. I was paid to go to TwitchCon, do a live build at the booth, on camera, and do a giveaway. And that's not that abnormal to do something like that. It was mostly through PNY, but there was a portion of that budget that had to come directly from Nvidia, and that's what I've already also talked about. The whole MDF flow through, I don't agree with that. I want the relationship and the transaction to be specifically with the parties involved. That way, there's the contracts and all that are clear. It's the first time I ever agreed, fine, we will receive some funds for the cost we're putting out to go to TwitchCon and stay at the hotels and bring the team and salary. There's cost involved in doing that. I don't feel dirty for saying we're gonna get paid to show up to that. We don't charge to go to like CES and Computex and all that sort of stuff. But that particular that was the only reason we were there. So we had net 15 days on payment. It took almost 100 days to get paid from Nvidia. A multi-trillion-dollar company took over 90 days, almost 100 days to get paid. And let me tell you what's worse about that. One of the reasons why it took so long to get paid, they accidentally paid someone else.
No.
Thinking it was us. My corporate
pause.
name, my corporate entity is not named Jay's 2 cents, it's something else.
There is no way they paid somebody else.
They did. I know, I can hear you seething.
Is his name that similar to somebody else, or like?
I don't know. I don't even know if there's another content creator with the name similar like that.
Bro.
Good guy Nvidia, quotation marks.
They paid another content creator. Oh my.
And then they wouldn't pay the proper content creator until the other one
paid them back.
Refunded the money.
Why? All right. Continue. Let's get through this.
They accidentally paid a company that had a similar name, and they would not pay us until they got refunded from that other company. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. So it became one of those things where it's like, man, when you're that big and you're that discombobulated, what other corporate and cultural problems exist within the company? Well, I think we're seeing it now, because I think with the new team that's there for the marketing team, it's only so long that you can push back against the culture before the culture beats you into either forming to that culture or you move on. And it's unfortunate because this isn't the GeForce I remember. The GeForce brand was consumer friendly. And I'm going back to like early 2000s, right? We're talking about like when the first GeForce 256 came out, GeForce 2, and then obviously we had the 200 series, which the dual GPUs like the GTX 295, cool stuff, cool projects that were like, look at what we're doing. But that was before the head turned into a Macy's Day Parade float, when it comes to the ego that's running the ship and running the company. And then ultimately it doesn't matter. Because like Gordon said at the end of Steve's video, which was from a previous Computex trip, all of us complain and whine and get outraged. But how many of you right now are outraged and have a GeForce product in your computer? Because there's a monopoly here right now. I mean, we have Radeon, but they don't compete at the level that Nvidia does when it comes to enthusiasts. Now, I'm telling you right now, the last few builds I've done, have all featured AMD CPUs and such, and we're starting to feature more Radeon graphics, but it doesn't help when Radeon even announces, or AMD announces, we're not going to try and compete in the high-end space, which just then leaves the high-end space to one company. Now, that's not where they make most of their money. In fact, they don't make most of their money on any of the graphics cards for NVIDIA. It's all AI, as we already talked about, and servers and AI farms and such. But it's the scenario we live in right now, and it sucks because I do think, although the 50 series has been quite unique when it comes to issues and concerns with drivers and hardware and missing ROPs and all the things, prior to that, up to the 4080, 4090 aside because of the cable problems, it's one of those things where, like, you can have what feels like a very good product. DLSS has improved to, like, DLSS 4 is pretty damn amazing. There's a lot of positive coverage on DLSS 4 from both the Steves who are very critical on NVIDIA, but very, like, positive leaning towards, like, the DLSS 4 technology. Ray tracing performance has continued to improve, and I mean, multi-frame gen is just the next tech that they've sort of showcased on there. And like anything else, we're all pushing back against that because it has drawbacks to it. But because we're not drinking the same Kool-Aid from NVIDIA, they're just holding it against us for not buying in yet. And I say yet because for me, all I need for frame gen is for the input latency to somehow improve, but I don't know how you do that when the frame's being drawn without any input. It has to wait till the next base frame to be drawn, and that's where the input is calculated. But anyway, moving on, what I was starting to say is that the cards have been good. The company may have sucked, and the leadership may suck, but you can still have a good product. 50 series has been sort of the exclusion from that, though, because every single 50 series card that's launched has had something wrong, either on a software or a hardware level, which is just, how do ROPs miss? How do you miss ROPs? Like, how do you fuse it wrong?
For context, ROPs is essentially performance.
Okay.
So the fact that some of these games are literally launching with missing performance.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. I thought this was a more isolated thing with the 5060 about us not being included in that because of the fact that I've been so vocally critical. But we all have. So that's when I started to realize, like, oh, okay, yeah, if they were setting new rules, either they're holding it against us the way that we've talked out against NVIDIA in the past, or I'd like to think they just knew we would never agree to the review parameters that had to be met, that they just didn't even bother reaching out to us. Now, I was told, hey, there's an editor's day Zoom call, here's the link, pop in if you want to, but we were never approached about being sampled. None of the AIBs approached us about being sampled, which tells me there might be that blacklist happening between NVIDIA and the AIBs. But at the same time, the one brand that I reached out to that is willing to seed us one, which they said couldn't even send us one until they were on shelves, which is weird because I can just go buy one, is Asus on top of everything. But I think it's because Asus is probably hungry to reestablish a relationship. And we're still in a very much like, I don't know.
And here's what's funny. He actually quit business relations with Asus a few years ago because they were so shitty.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that no one is willing to play ball with him for this, like, other than Asus, is amazing. It's like, how? What? Yeah.
But what a time to be alive right now. And we already talked about the timing of putting review embargo and driver embargo at the same time everyone's in Computex, and no mention of 5060 at all in Computex, which it goes live now during Computex. You would think you would mention it. Nope, because it is a soft, silent launch, because it is probably a steaming pile of shit. Now, one of the things I'm going to do when we end this video right now is we're going to actually go to Micro Center and buy probably. I was actually trying to work on a new personal build because of reasons, which you'll see in another video. It's one of the first times it's actually a necessity versus a want, but I digress. We're gonna probably, I'm sure there's 5060 sitting on the shelf. In fact, let me look right now. I'm curious. It is launch day. There has to be in stock, 25 in stock, 3 in stock, 19 in stock, 6 in stock, 7 in stock, 10 in stock, 12 in stock. There's plenty. Nobody wants it. And NVIDIA knows that. So that's why they're just trying to silently roll it out there.
Oh, no.
Anyway, we're probably blacklisted. I don't care. We have other means of getting the cards, and if we have to wait till shelf availability because of the blacklist thing we've already talked about when it comes to the partners, that's fine. I almost wear that with a badge of honor. It means we stuck to our values so strongly that we're actually not liked by a brand because of our values, in my opinion, being higher than theirs. So if that's the way it is, then you know what? You know, some written article magazines and stuff give an award. We'll call ours the high value award. high values award. I don't have high value, but I have high values. And one other thing I want to mention here too, I think I already said at the beginning, Steve makes a very good point. I know I'm referencing his videos a lot because it became very eye-opening that somebody who's known to go scorch earth as much as Steve, also getting strong-armed and threatened with not having access to these engineering discussions that he gets to have. That just has to tell you the level of arrogance that Nvidia has. It basically invites the scorched earth comment or video, which is what's on the screen right behind me right now. But it was really eye-opening because I did think it was just us. But like he mentioned, the whole way that 5060 reviews have been done, and with it being put out public, like the requirements that it took to be a part of the launch, undermines all of us. It makes any previous review that we've done look like we agreed to those types of terms, which were non-existent in any of the other reviews. But that's the thing. If you can cast or plant a seed of doubt, then it undermines all of our credibility.
Pause.
Including people like Steve, who quite honestly...
Mercenary for 5. It goes to show how bad things are in the chip industry. Who do you think will end up taking the crown for high-end video cards? Because I need one. Right
it's
now,
gonna be Nvidia
right
for
now,
a long time.
Well, yeah, it is. But like right now, I'd say that AMD is probably the better choice. Probably. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree. Don't get me wrong. AMD has their own problems.
From MommaOcco.
Mercenarix 20
comparatively,
for more hats.
AMD is doing pretty good.
Just how bad things are in the chip industry.
Fair enough.
Do you think we'll end up taking the crown for high-end
Continue. Well, I'm assuming we're just barely done.
Yeah, this is almost done. It's like 2 more minutes.
Believe walk on water. I mean, I think I'd love to see Steve walking on water, to be honest, but to keep his hair dry. But I digress. The point is, when you try this sort of stuff, you have to start questioning. Well, I see a multi-frame gen chart now. Does that mean that they agreed to the circumstances to be a part of this launch? And I think that's the unfortunate position a lot of the smaller channels are in right now is, oh my gosh, NVIDIA's talking to me. Okay, I'll do whatever you want. Now, I'm not saying they did that, but I know that feeling exists of, okay, if I want to be a part of this, if I want to be legit, I want to be recognized by a big brand like NVIDIA as a real reviewer, then I have to play by their rules. And that's not what you do. That's not how you become a large, credible reviewer. So I really hope that the reviews that are out today on the 5060 don't fall into that category, because that's like cutting off your own foot before you ever start running in the race, and it's not going to work out for you long term. It's just not. Stick to those values, and I hope that all those guys did and somehow got them through other ways. Because like I said, we are waiting on a 5060 Prime from Asus, but they told me they could not even ship it until the day it was on shelves, which is, I almost said, what is Nvidia hiding? Because I said that in my last video, but they're not hiding anything. They're showing everything. And they're showing us all we need to know about their values. And it's
Which is that they have dropped some of those values.
I think as long as we've got the trained monkey dancing around on stage wearing gator print, nothing's going to change. So buckle up.
Can I have a Michelob Ultra?
What the fuck?
Because even Jensen goes up on stage and doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Okay. All this to really say 50 minutes of videos here just to say that Nvidia is choosing to tell reviewers that they should not report on the fact that their new cards are potentially not better than the cards that they previously had. That's literally, like, if you wanted too long didn't read, that's it. That's it. Their cards potentially, and the fact that they're like threatening people to like blacklist them tells me that that's probably right. It's probably right. I mean, like, it's so depressing because again, like, they spent 2 to 3 years and the only update grade they put out is fake frames, and we're expected to pay $800 or some shit like that.
And this is my problem. And I'm going to bounce to Nintendo for this one, because Nintendo's doing the exact same thing. Because Nintendo's not shipping out review units. Nintendo is not... the people compared the internal parts to what is currently available on the market. And the Switch 2 is not even more powerful. It's as powerful as a 2050. If it was a 2060 or a 2070, fine. Whatever, that's fine. But the 50s are usually like the bargain bin GPUs.
Yeah.
And this thing is supposed to rely on fake frames when it's the 20 series GPUs
Do you have more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. No.
that's all I got.
Fair enough.
Well, now at Computex, and this is the last thing, and then we'll call it.
Okay.
At Computex, Nvidia did not Nvidia AMD did announce the RX 9060 XT and just the 9060 XT. But they announced two variants of it, which has people both getting mad and scratching their heads.
From MommaOcco.
So
Jordan
instead
Brown,
of
Wolf, send $5
doing
for
like a
more
9060
hats.
and then a 9060
Nintendo has been
XT,
doing-
like they did with the 9070 and 9070 XT.
Uh-huh.
So now there's two different variants of the 9060 XT. One that is $300 MSRP at 8 gigabytes of VRAM, which is ridiculously low and nigh unusable these days. And then the 16 gigabyte VRAM version, which is only $50 more MSRP.
So wait, 8 gigabytes of VRAM is not usable these days?
It's usable, but for a lot of things, like I would say bare minimum is 12 gig.
Really? That high now? I mean, like, unfortunately, video games these days, they just
are a little too insane.
I think it's also some poor optimization as well.
Oh, absolutely it is.
Sadly.
Mm-hmm. But because of the poor optimization, and those almost makes you wonder, and this is very tinfoil hat, if maybe the poor optimization is on purpose.
Actually, you tell me what you think.
If it's poorly optimized, people are gonna have to buy better GPUs to run more VRAM, to run better performance, to be able to get the game to run. Is it low-end Minecraft like 8 gigabytes? I believe it is. So low-end Minecraft, you're already pushing the limits of what your GPU can do.
Uh-huh.
I know it's getting cut off, chat. I'm sorry. But yeah, no. And admittedly, AMD does come out during Computex and just flat out reveals, like, so here's how our 9060 XT 32 or 16 gigabyte VRAM version compares against the 5060 Ti, which the best version of that is only 8 gigabytes of VRAM compares. So Nvidia isn't even wanting to talk about how it does and is wanting show not tell. Meanwhile, here's AMD showing how bad the 5060 is compared to their 9060. Can't be forgetting the cherry on top of poor optimization, UE5. Yes, UE5 is a part of the problem as well. And a lot of these companies love focusing on ray tracing, and ray tracing eats VRAM as well.
Thank you, user, for the follow.
Finance by Bros,
Like,
managed by Karen's, consulted by... Oh, goodness.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know, chat. That's all we got for tonight. I mean, we have a couple small things, but I'm not going to keep Akko because I know it's late.
It is, unfortunately, and I am kind of exhausted from today.
And
I finished late, sadly.
That's fine, right? And we went through the big topics anyway, so we're good.
Mm-hmm. Really quickly, I mean, well, you finish and then we'll just go through the rest of the...
No, go ahead.
No, you finish and then we'll go through the rest of these super chats.
Well, I was going to say, like, who are we rating tonight? But you do your first, and then...
Who is live still? Is there people that are live still? Right.
I'm sure there are.
Right now, really.
Ryan's live.
Ryan's live on Twitch.
Ryan's live.
Is he multi-streaming?
Yeah, he's live on Twitch. I don't know about multi-streaming, but he's definitely live on Twitch. He's playing League.
Hit the gritty on him.
So when we're done, I'd say pop over to Ryan.
Okay, yeah, we can raid him, I think.
Raid the other Gator.
Raid the Florida Gator. The Brown Gator. Oh, he's playing League.
Gator.
He's playing League. Why? Why would I do that? He's playing League.
I'm only doing it because friend.
That's fair. Unfortunately, there's nobody on YouTube that I can give people over to. So I'm just not going to. Yeah, I don't see anybody on YouTube worth throwing over to. So probably not going to. When
Go ahead and read your
in
super chats.
regards with supercharged, excuse me,
Supercharged?
I almost said yes, exactly. Let's see here. I already read that one. Mercenary for 2. I really couldn't stand the new guys in charge. I agree. Ryan is on YouTube. Why do I not see it? Is it because I need to be subbed? Have I not subbed to my good friend on YouTube? Hold on.
Am I not subbed to Ryan? Hold on. I might not be subbed to Ryan. I will see.
I am not sub. I am subbed to him. What the fuck? Hold on.
Yeah, there's Ryan.
I can't. He needs to approve me. All right. Well, his loss. Anyway, chat. I'll be back on Wednesday.
Super chats.
I already did the super chats.
You did?
Oh no, wait. I have one more. Thank you. Jordan for 5. Nintendo has been doing this and worse for 20 years now. Yes, pretty much. Anyway.
All right, let me get mine set up and then we'll raid run.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna hit the raid now. Chat, thank you so much. I'll see you on Wednesday. Until then, stay classy, and I am gonna get editing tomorrow because I need to.
Yeah, chat. As for me, we'll be live Wednesday with Repo.